And Brendan Parker are ready to go. From the Okanagan playoffs, home of the back to Penticton, British Columbia, home of the Battle of Alberta. Listen, it doesn't matter if it's the rookie tournament, the preseason, the regular season, or like we saw a couple of years ago in the playoffs, every BOA counts, and we are excited to bring this one live from the Okanagan Event Center for game number 2 for the Edmonton Oilers rookies. Of course, pleased to be joined by Paige Martin, and thank you for joining us on Oilers Plus. Paige, BOA, doesn't get better than this.
It does not get better than this. I feel like we can already feel this energy here right now, and it's only warm-ups. I'm personally excited. This is my first up-close and personal experience of a Battle of Alberta, and I'm excited for the Rookies edition to really ease things into it. And we talked to a few of the players as well as Coach Chalk today, and he was talking about how much they are aware of this, and the players talking about how essentially excited and pumped up they are for this because they understand just what Battle of Alberta means and exactly what happens in those games.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and like you mentioned, the players are super amped. They've been a little bit giddy. I ran into a couple of them in the elevator at the team hotel, and they said, man, we are fired up and ready to go. But when you look at Edmonton and Calgary on a map, what's dead set right in the middle? Of course, it's Red Deer, Alberta, and we have a couple of Rebels products that join us now on the Oilers Plus live pregame show. We throw it to Cam Moon and Jaden Groom.
First of all, your thoughts, getting a game under your belt last night with the Oilers, the start of the YoungStars Classic. How'd it feel?
Yeah, it was good, get the first one out of the way with new team, new organization. So it was a good feeling to, get that first one, get the first win. So it was a good experience.
Difficult when you have a practice, a morning skate, and then all of a sudden you got to play a game. I mean, the other team's in the same boat, but you get thrown together in a short amount of time. Is that difficult in any way?
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal to be hopping right into a game right away, but you kind of just trust your instincts, and everyone's got to play their game, and everyone's good players. So I think just make reads off each other and do what you can.
4 years in Red Deer in the Western Hockey League, now looking to move to the pro ranks and start your professional career. But looking back at your time in Red Deer, I know you're the captain for your last 3 years, which is saying something. Not many captains at 17 years old in the WHL. Looking back, your time in Red Deer, how'd you like it?
Yeah, it was awesome. As you know, it's a great place to live, and play there is even better. So, I can't say enough about the team and the Sutters who, brought me there and showed me how to be a good person and player. So, it's a great place for anyone who's looking to play junior hockey.
How'd your game change from the time you started in the WHL till now on the cusp of a pro career? How'd it change for you?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was becoming a 200-foot player, being reliable, someone who, the coach can put out in any situation. So that's will give me an opportunity to hopefully play at the pro level, is being someone who, you can be put out end of the game when you need a draw or need a goal, whatever it is. That's kind of what I've been taught, and play physical, compete, bring some skill. That's kind of, the Red Deer game.
It absolutely is. Yes, it absolutely is. you're a New York Ranger draft pick, traded to the Oilers earlier this year, and now part of the Oilers organization. When that all came down, tell me what your emotions, your thoughts were.
Yeah, it was a stressful little while there. Waiting for everything to unfold, but once it did happen, I couldn't be happier where I ended up, and it's a great organization, great team, and good opportunity for myself. That's probably the biggest thing, is somewhere where I can hopefully play, and somewhere that needs young guys to move in and help them out. So it was definitely a mix of emotions, but it was good to get finally done.
All right, well, have a good one tonight. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Cam.
Carl, what did you make of your guys' first game together as a trio? I'm talking about you, Savoy, and Bourgault.
I think as the game went on, we played a little bit better, and going out there today, we just got to play a little harder.
As a team, what are you hoping to build on from your first victory?
I think we played a pretty good game for being the first game as a team, obviously, and scored well on the power play, and we're trying to get out there and play hard.
Regular season, preseason, or even the rookie tournament, the Battle of Alberta is the Battle of Alberta. How amped are you for this one?
We're really excited, and it's going to be a really good one.
Thanks so much, Carl, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And there's Carl Berglund, of course, headlining this offense. Makes up the top line with Carter Savoy and, of course, Xavier Bourgault. Now, on the other side, some really good prospects for the Calgary Flames. With more on the team, south of Edmonton, we go to Paige Martin and Brendan Parker.
We saw it early on, and they saw it earlier in the camp as well, and now they have to showing one forward to dictate a little bit more. He talked about kind of taking some pride in their game and showing some of that, and so with that, we see some lineup changes here tonight. 3 players go out, 3 come in. One forward, Tolk will come in, Manti and McCoy on the back end will join on the defensive groups, but also some changes to the forward pairings or forward trios as well. It was Coronado and Honzik, the 2 first-rounders, on the same line last night. They'll separate, so Honzik and Lipinski, the 2 Vancouver Giants forwards, will now play together tonight. But want to focus on a couple of guys to watch here tonight, and it's a couple of returning players to this event here at the YoungStars Classic. One of them this tournament last year, games long champ Park.
Oilers tonight, 15 left, and it was injury period, and got a big game from Bo Akey. The Oilers only had 1 draft pick in the first 5 rounds at this summer's draft, and it was Akey who went 56th overall in the second round. He had a goal and an assist. As you can see, he's back in the mix, and Jake Sloan scored twice in that 3-1 victory, so he gets the extra nod tonight. Antonin Verreau and a few others come in, but this is a lineup that does not have the former first-rounders we've been accustomed to seeing at this YoungStars Classic. Here's the one they do have, and that's Xavier Bourgault, and you see some of the skill and why he was a first-round pick a couple of years ago. There's Bo Akey, and again, very strong performance, a goal and an assist last night in the win over the Jets. And for a guy who's only played a couple of years as a junior, Brendan, showed some uncommon poise up top, took the extra stride, made the extra head and shoulders fakes, and showed wisdom beyond his years. And, of course, the finish that put away Edmonton's only power play goal in 8 tries last night. So, truly, it's 2 teams coming from opposite directions. And as you mentioned, results aren't the big thing here in Penticton, but it's first impressions for some of these prospects. It's an Oilers and against over Calgary and Reagan, and he'll squeeze it against Parker Bell.
Already a better start for the Calgary Flames when you look at their shot count from the entire first period last night against the Vancouver Canucks. They finished that first period with 2. The second one came right in the final minute of that period.
On the third shot, actually cut it to 2-1. It did not hold up as eventually Vancouver poured on 5 consecutive goals for a 7-1 final. Off the draw, Etienne Morin did not hold the zone as it's whistled for an offside, and will bring the face-off outside the offensive zone.
Get our first look at this line of Adam Klapka Sam Honzik and Jaden Lipinski, the two Vancouver Giant forwards, both selected in the 2023 draft for the Calgary Flames. Back to the Giants if they go there at the end of this training camp. We'll see if this is something we see a lot this season in the WHL, the two men playing next to each other on a line.
Referees Taylor Bermiski and Alex Clark. Linesmen Simone Debian and Mitchell Gibbs. Off the draw, Flames pour their way in deep, and it's shoveled across by Honzik. Kicked out and turned over. The steal by Carter Savoy, and he burns Diot to the net with a backhander, only to be denied. Saved by Connor Murphy, a good chance for Edmonton early. Flames' problem last night, not goaltending, although, again, Vancouver broke it open late. But Radomski kept the Flames in it for the first 30 minutes despite being badly outplayed. Here's a turnover, and Bourgault swung one wide. Big hit, stepping up Gansky, who impressed last night. Van Mulligan with a shot from distance. Easy save, retrieved and cleared, ultimately by Klapka. Van Mulligan to collect. He'll bank one off the wall up towards center. Stonehouse sends one drifting toward the Oiler bench. Sent in deep by Pilling. Nathan Pilling of the Flames, of course, his grandfather Greg won a 1963 Western Hockey League championship with the Edmonton Oil Kings. Greg, a very popular figure in the Edmonton area. Now a clear to Stonehouse. He was stripped. Stromgren negated by Bernard, and then Max Wanner, 7th round pick a couple of years ago, and Edmonton likes him, and they've had a 7th rounder, Vinny Desharnais, break into their lineup at the NHL level. Shoveled up to Siona, who's Brendan mentioned, shined in the 7-1 loss with a goal and a fight. Lead play, Lounsbury, Preston Lounsbury from New Brunswick. One of two Oiler forwards drawing in for the first time at this tournament tonight. Ethan DeYoung, Quinnipiac product. Kicked it behind the net, then got it back. Fed Van Vliet. His shot drifts wide. That'll be collected and brought up ice by Tulk. DeYoung. Back to Van Vliet. Lounsbury with a giveaway in the neutral zone. Hard hit DeYoung, and that thwarted Nikolaev. Coronado had it poked free. Nikolaev with 3.5 gone by. Scoreless first period. Edmonton 2 of the 3 shots on net thus far. Here's Petrov. Breaking free, Groove. Busting toward the net, knocked off balance and flying into the boards, and the Flames able to peel it up the right-hand side, but not out. Held in by Petrov. Centering pass, Groove was tipped and retrieved by Bell. He'll move it up to Coronado, and now a created 2-on-1. Bell a shot, and that was ripped over the right shoulder off the glass and out of play.
It's a great play in the neutral zone by Matt Coronado to spring that 2-on-1 or partial 2-on-1. Just a nice, simple play to kind of stop up and draw the defender in and then chip it into the middle. That had Diot on the far side. We'll take another look at it here, but there's the play right at the red line by Coronado to hand it off to Parker Bell, who just decides to keep and shoot. Never a bad choice early on in a hockey game despite Diot. You know, it's interesting with Mikhail Diot. He's one of those PTO guys, and you see Jared Gorley finishing his check. The elder statesman on the blue line for the Calgary Flames. It is a young D-core. We saw that last night. Gorley at 24 years of age is going to be one of those guys they'll rely on here throughout the tournament.
It's a good point. I mean, the Flames, I talked about 8 of their top 9 forwards draft picks, but on the back end, just 2.
Yep. And 4 guys 20 years of age or under in the lineup on the back end for the Flames here tonight. 3 18-year-olds.
Bourgault missing a wrist shot. Bernard fed it along, chopping at it, but unable to clear Honzik. Calgary with 5 top 50 picks in the lineup tonight. Edmonton, just Bourgault. Max Wanner feathers one over to Bernard. Now Savoy quickly moves out towards center. One touch by Berglund, and Chipped in by Borgo. He'll peel off on a change. Nice play by McCoy to seal off his man on the wall, Bernard. And the Flames ample time to clear, but Siona mistake. And now Akey steps up in the high slot, spinning, shooting, and that missed. Rebound fed in front, deflected free, and taken by Stromgren. Standing up, Van Vliet forces him to give it up. Akey will whip it around the boards. Jake Chason did not get a clear. Quick shot, and that was blocked by Akey and sailed out of play against Pilling, who for a moment looked like he had a seam.
You know, Pilling's one of those PTO invites and a guy that really stood out in development camp. We talk about first impressions, and they made that. Pilling and Pierre, two guys that now had joined the team here in Penticton, but Pilling especially was coming off an ankle injury, got injured with the Edmonton Oil Kings. I think he was out in early January. So rehabbed the foot, got back in time for development camp, and really stood out to management, earned his spot and his place at this Penticton YoungStars Classic, and will get a chance to go to main camp as well. That's what it takes. You have to stand out at some point, and he did that at development camp in July.
Just turned 19 the month before in June. Here's Petrov wiring one over the crossbar. A guy who had a 40-goal season 2 years ago. And then a bit of a playmaking campaign last year in North Bay. 66 assists as part of his 93-point season. Dewart with a clear up the right-hand side. Something brewing for Tolka. Centering pass off a skate and a save made. Van Mulligan had it bounce off his skate. Bowen an alert stop, and then on an entry pass, Van Mulligan the steal, and it's chipped out safely by Tullio. But Coronado stole that one back, ran in to Grube, and now the Oilers D-to-D. Bernard escaping. Parker Bell sees it lofted down the ice, but this will be an icing call with 6:20 having elapsed in this first period, and still just the combined 3 shots on net for the two teams.
Hard not to notice the size on the back end of the lineup tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. The smallest, I think, is Bo Akey at 6 feet. You got two guys registering at 6'7" in the lineup here tonight, to Noah Gansky on the Oilers side and Adam Klapka for the Calgary Flames. But there are some big boys on the back end the Calgary Flames will have to watch out for every time they get the puck in deep.
Coronado off the draw, barreling his way toward the net. Well defended by Gansky, who again earned a second consecutive start with his play last night, trying to fish it out of his skates, does so, and gets a clear from DeYoung. Too far, though, and that's another icing call against Edmonton. The Oilers and the Flames, of course, back to 4 matchups this year in the NHL regular season. A bit of a travesty last year. I thought, 3 between Edmonton and Calgary. You had, I think, 3 between the Flyers and the Penguins. It was not a great year in terms of the schedule.
Just doesn't feel right. And especially the timing. We didn't get to see that late season matchup when maybe there's something more on the line, trying to get into a playoff spot, trying to climb up the Pacific Division. So this feels a little bit more normal, a little bit back to the way it should be this season.
Edmonton won 2 of those 3. All 3 meetings decided by 1 goal, and that was the problem for Calgary. Missing the playoffs by 2 points, 7-17 in games beyond regulation, and the number of 1-goal losses in regulation killed them.
Hard to believe in a lot of ways that it was that many in regulation and in 1-goal games.
Coronado breaks away from DeYoung. Line change for Edmonton. Here's Coronado across with a shot that's towed aside by Bowen. Cleared back towards center, handled by Kuznetsov. Across to McCoy, spilled in Coronado, and he'll change. Bowen up the boards, guided back towards center. And Lipinski gives way to Diot. Sent in deep by Morant. Lipinski, Diot. Off the wall. Left for Klapka. Now Morin with room. A shot tipped, and that ended up out of play. But that's what Klapka does. He's got a big body, not afraid to camp in front of the net. And as you pointed out last year and even last night, makes himself available in front of the opposition net.
So much of it seems like a lot of times the reach catches defenders off guard. Just how he's able to get that stick out, and I think gets to pucks a lot faster than a guy is expecting, and that creates a lot of turnovers. We've seen it throughout this tournament so far, both last night and tonight.
Off balance, Lipinski, and he's drawn a penalty. That will be a call, I believe, against Akey. So delayed penalty, 6-on-5 for the time being, and now that's neutralized as it's touched up by Chason. But down low, Calgary able to generate a power play as Akey trudges to the box. So Calgary 0 for 3 on the power play last night. Edmonton a perfect 5 for 5 showing. Again, that game 3-1 Edmonton, but the shots would tell a different story.
It's just one of those opportunities for a power play. It's hard to get the chemistry early on in a tournament like this. They got a late one that was a little bit better, a little cleaner, so we'll see if they can carry that over here.
Bell across, whiffing Coronado. Ends up just stroking it back to Bell, but he's crowded by Grube, who fires it down the ice. Grube out there with Tullio, and now Grube's going to change and be replaced by DeYoung. Rounding out the penalty-killing quartet, Bernard and Max Wanner. Coronado made his NHL debut April the 12th. 13th overall back in 2021. 9 picks ahead of Bourgault. Here's Morin shoveling it around. Cairns coughed it up, and Edmonton has something brewing shorthanded. Overstriding was Tullio. Recovered DeYoung. He's double-teamed. Will try to just protect as a quartet of Flames crowd him and ultimately relieve him of puck possession. Dropped by Cairns. Shot deflected off the glass. Klapka took it. Played back. Kuznetsov looks for a lane. One-timer ripped off the post by Bell. Coronado. DeYoung on him. Gets a piece. Kuznetsov maintains. Bell. Kuznetsov. Bell. One touch across. Coronado did not handle it. Half minute on the power play. A hit by Chason. Shrugged off by Coronado. Bourgault draped all over him. The Oilers want Bourgault killing penalties at the American Hockey League level this year. He'll force back up ice. Time for one last Calgary rush on the power play. Moving in. Lipinski, quick shot short side, and that's held by Bowen with 13 on the power play and 10-10 remaining in this scoreless first period. Flames have the last 4 shots on net.
Liking what I'm seeing early on here from Matt Coronado. I think there was one flash early in this hockey game that really set that scene for what we want to see for him moving forward and trying to get in some releases. This one was a nice setup, and it was Parker Bell that hammered, that caught all of the one-timer. But for me, Coronado, simple plays in the neutral zone, but creating some space. He was actually the last man back that helped lead to that one-timer. It was a one-on-one situation, not where you'd normally see Coronado playing on the defensive side, but made a good play. It helped set up that one-time chance from Bell.
Flames able to maintain. Stromgren a shot, finding it through traffic. Zach Bowen, that was well handled. Bowen had the lowest goals against of any Ontario Hockey League rookie goaltender last season. And that time I thought he did a good job because that was a pretty decent setup. Yeah. Waited for traffic to set up in front of Bowen, and yet he was able to locate.
Once again, Lucas Siona doing a good job of getting into that high traffic area, and it's Siona just standing there. And look at Stromgren, patient, waiting. Then there you go. That's the save from Zach Bowen. You know, Bowen interesting because as a rookie, got just sort of thrusted into the spotlight deep into the OHL playoffs after Brett Brochu went down with an injury. Good experience for him. I'd imagine now going back into this season as an opportunity to be a go-to starter for the London Knights.
Pile up in the corner. Berglund attempts to seal for Bourgault. Pinned along the half wall, and eventually Donovan McCoy will race back into his own zone to collect. Lead by Manti. Sent in Lipinski. On the retrieval, Akey, who's fresh out of the box. Edmonton having killed off the lone power play of this first period. Still zeros on the board as we come up on 9 to play. Shot in by Van Vliet, and now Berglund. Bourgault joins. McCoy dug it out, and the Flames press the attack. Tulk will chip and charge, but he's hit and erased by Van Vliet. Akey to Berglund, and now poked away by Van Vliet. Calgary has something brewing. On his horse, a quick shot, score! Ilya Nikolaev buries it over the left shoulder, and the Flames take a 1-0 lead at 11:08 of this first period.
What an outstanding shot by Ilya Nikolaev. It was his stick in the neutral zone, just at the offensive blue line, that prized this puck loose and then springs the odd man rush back the other way. He had help. He had guys coming in with speed. Nathan Pilling driving the net, but there's the quick stick in the neutral zone to create separation. Little weight and a little fire. That's outstanding stuff from Ilya Nikolaev. He had 13 goals in the ECHL last year. Had some injury problems, only played 5 games in the American Hockey League, but you can see why the Flames are still high on that draft pick, and Nikolaev shows some of that offensive flash right there.
Third. Rounder.
I'd say we've seen that in the
Has drawn for the retrieval.
It was
Flames has something. Akey to Berglund, and now poked away by Van Vliet. Calgary has something brewing. On his horse, a quick shot, score! Ilya Nikolaev buries it over the left shoulder, and the Flames take a 1-0 lead at 11:08 of this first period.
What an outstanding blue line that he had guys come in operation, little weight and a little fire.
Section of Zach Bowen by Coronado, but that's how the Harvard product scored 20, which again in an NCAA season is awfully impressive. That one, however, found the lapel.
But that's the kind of release that has been talked about a lot by Flames fans, by Flames management. That's the kind of thing that you want to see from their first rounder from a couple of years ago, that he's got that in his repertoire. Just like to see a little bit more of it throughout the tournament.
Held in by Parker Bell off the draw. Now Max Wanner under duress. Took a hard hit, but made the play up the right-hand side to Jake Chason, who was dumped. And now taking over is Diot. He'll likely be whistled for an icing call, and there it is with 8 minutes to go in this first period, and the Flames holding a 1-0 lead. Again, Ilya Nikolaev with an unassisted tally at 11:08. Again, Edmonton 14-0-2 in its last 16 at this tournament. 3-0 last year, including a win over Calgary and the 3-1 win to open the tournament yesterday. Calgary played the nightcap. Face-off win, quick shot, Bourgault, and that was blockered away by Connor Murphy. Not the longtime NHL veteran defenseman, but the product of Hudson Falls, New York. Sent in deep, retrieved and cleared by Bernard. Savoy breaks loose. Throws it behind the net. Bourgault tried to feather it inside for Berglund. That was broken up. One touch to head. Lipinski off to Klapka. Defended by Van Vliet, who was stripped by Nikolaev for the only goal thus far tonight. Akey a steal. Eludes Lipinski and then was able to backhand it up to Bourgault. Savoy the breakout to the activating Bo Akey. Slides to Berglund. He'll reverse, avoid the hit from Klapka, and dish back to Akey. Across Van Vliet. Shot blockered away once more by Murphy. Moran, and it's out of the zone. Hanzik the smart play, chasing Edmonton back to its own blue. Akey biding time. Pass into the skates of DeYoung. Off the carom, Moran. Vereau draped all over him, trying to protect Nikolaev, and he finds an open Dewart. Back towards center, and Dewart a high hit on Van Mulligan, and then wrestles control the puck away before firing high and wide blocker side. Taken by Geske. Now Vereau. Wrist shot on net, and that was a good move and a good save by Connor Murphy. That was set up by Genski at one end, and Vereau a slippery move to the inside at the other. Oliver Tulk able to hoist back inside the Oiler blue line. Genski threw it across, misplay Van Mulligan, centering pass off a skate right to Petrov. Oiler breakout, Tullio. Defended well, rolls free, and Murphy able to wrap it up with 5:44 to go in the first. And I'll tell you what, Connor Murphy, in limited chances, looked as poised as can be.
Yeah, this is his first look at a good scoring chance from the Edmonton Oilers in some time, and it is a good one, coming right down the middle. And you can see the setup, just drag it right into the middle by Vereau, and that's a pretty good save there by Connor Murphy, staying right in the middle of the net and stopping his fourth shot of this first period.
Murphy a .915 in his first 2 years in NCAA, and then last year, as Brendan noted, the captain of Union College. Wasn't a great year for the club, and his save percentage slid to .889, but has looked sharp thus far. Here's a quick dish by Gorley. On the move, Siona. His shot deflected. Back behind Gorley. Engage with Bernard. Fierce battle. Finally, puck pops loose for Pilling. He was hit hard by Warner. Stayed strong on the puck. Siona's inside. Quick shot. And a save made by Bowen. Diot across. Now Gorley lets fly. And that was blockered out of play by Bowen. But Pilling impressively able to keep that play alive. And a pretty good look on the interior.
Yeah, this is some nice work down low by the Calgary Flames. Pilling takes that shot, but as you mentioned, protects it the whole time, gets it down to Siona. But look at this quiet, soft spot around three Edmonton Oiler defenders as they're both or three of them, kind of watching the puck and just leave Pilling there. He gets two away. A couple of quick ones in tight. Pilling does have a good release. He skates well. That's one of the reasons he stood out through that development camp, and interesting to see how he kind of develops. A Calgary kid getting a chance for this hometown team here. In terms of the NHL, and he's trying to make the most of it in this second game.
And I thought what was most impressive, he takes the big shot, immediately curls right toward the front of the net.
Absolutely.
Because that's off. And DeYoung grapple for puck possession in the Calgary zone. Coming over to help out is Cairns. Sixth rounder, able to dig it out. Parker Bell, who played with Jake Sloan of Edmonton at Tri-City last year, two of the top five scorers on the team, and now Akey has drawn a call. Akey took a penalty earlier, now he's drawn one. Here's Bourgault down the middle, and it was chopped away by McCoy. Bourgault unable to get a shot away, and now the Oilers will go to the power play as it's touched up by Klapka.
So Akey, first of all, goes into the box, and now this time he draws the penalty that gets the Oilers their first power play of the game, and it's Matt Coronado that was chasing Akey in the offensive zone, ends up getting the stick up high. As we'll take a look at it here, it's the one hand, and Akey does a nice job to spin off the check, and there you see as he wraps around and catches it right across the face. but Akey will now help quarterback the top of the power play. It's interesting, Jack, with the two power play units, the first number one units, you got two young guys, Etienne Morin for the Calgary Flames, Akey for the Oilers, getting a nice opportunity early in their camp to operate the number one power play unit. Lots of puck touches and lots of offensive time.
Both second-round picks at the 2023 draft as well. Akey and Petrov exchange. Hard hit by Dewart. Puck shaken free in the corner. A 5-player scrum. Now make it 6. Less than 4 to go in this first period. Oilers trying to equalize matters. Akey lunges but cannot keep it in. Dewart a solid clear. Bowen the handoff, and now Akey. Reverses back to the on-rushing Carter Savoy. Chipping and charging toward the net and tried to wire it off that top shoulder. Connor McDavid-esque, trying to bank it off that right clavicle, and he just missed, sailed out of play, and the Oilers will settle for an offensive zone draw. But we're seeing more and more of these highly skilled offensive players, and Savoy is one, using the angle of the goaltender's positioning to try to get the old bank shot going.
They don't need a lot of space, and guys work on that all morning. Watch Savoy take about 15 backhands from about that spot this morning before morning skate, practicing that exact release.
Tullio gives it up, and now Brady Stonehouse shoots and scores. Brady Stonehouse, the Ottawa 67, who scored 37 goals last season, buries one to tie the game on the Oiler power play. That's a double minor, by the way, on Coronado, so the Oilers will remain on the power play as it drew blood on the high stick. And Stonehouse able to beat Murphy.
Some nice puck movement around the perimeter. Gets it to Stonehouse, who has plenty of time and space to walk in. You mentioned the 37 goals last season. Went from 18 the year before.
Hear the announcement is there was kind of a hook on the hands and then the high stick. So it's possible, and we haven't seen a box score yet, it's possible they had two minors on the same play rather than the traditional high stick that draws blood.
Right. Yeah, it was just as Akey was about to make that spin, the stick was in the body there, yeah.
Because, I mean, Akey started on the first power play unit, so if there was blood, it wasn't enough to keep him out. Here's Bourgault, back to the point. Carter Savoy, left circle. Now Petrov scoots it across. Bourgault, Akey calling. One-timer off the side of the net from Petrov. Again, a 40-goal scorer 2 years ago for the North Bay Battalion. Looking to clear, but not out. Held in, Akey. Petrov lines it up this time. Just missed. Over the crossbar. Taken by Savoy. Gets it back from Akey. Bourgault on the one touch. Couldn't get the one-timer off. Petrov inside. Bourgault redirected just wide of the far post.
Between the legs too, Jack.
Akey. Minute 15 to go in the period. 5 seconds left on the Oiler power play. Shot Petrov, and that just missed. A diving play and a good one made. I think that was Kuznetsov belly down to get it out. Final minute. Opening period. Game tied at 1. Stonehouse on the power play for Edmonton. Nikolaev unassisted at even strength for Calgary. And now a turnover by the Oilers. Here's Klapka pouring in, waiting, centering off the stick and held by Bowen.
Couple of chances going both ways. And the last one is an odd man rush with Adam Klapka leading.
Bowen watches. Oilers look to control off the draw. But the Flames able to wrap it around and give Moran a chance. He waits. He slides to his left. Grube tries to stay in front of him. It trickled wide on a deflection. Coronado lost his headgear. He'll have to come off. Gansky, in the meantime, will clear with ease for Edmonton. Put too much on it, and that's icing against the Oilers. Give one or an assist on the Stonehouse power play goal. As Coronado's helmet retrieved by our officiating crew. And a face-off coming to Bowen's left. And for now, at least, it was the double minor for a high sticking, although not 100% how accurate.
Either way, it ends up with 4 minutes. Flames were able to get out of the second half of it.
Here's a shot deflected up and out of play. DeYoung challenging up top on Hanzik, and now 19 seconds remain.
Maybe an assist to the equipment staff for wiping up whatever blood there might have been for Hickey to get right back out there on the number 1 unit.
Hear that, or the old bite down on the lip, healed quickly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So now you've got Lipinski off the draw against Berglund. Tie-up situation. Klapka jumped into the fray, and it was finally lofted back the other way by Bernard. And that'll likely do it for this first period with the game tied at 1. Hanging on Kuznetsov. Klapka at the horn. Length of the ice, glanced off the blocker. And indeed, we have a 1-1 stalemate through 20 minutes of play of the Battle of Alberta at the YoungStars Classic. The Flames, the early goal and the 7-2 shot spread, and then the Oilers got on the power play and took advantage for the equalizer.
It's kind of what happened to the Calgary Flames penalty kill in the third period against Vancouver. Despite the fact they were outshot and outplayed, that game didn't really get out of hand on the scoreboard until the third and some of the penalty problems. So the PK is an area where the Flames will have to look at as they look toward the final 40 minutes of this hockey game. But good on the Edmonton Oilers for staying in this hockey game, despite the fact that there was some moments in that first part of the period, as you talked about, where the Flames generated a little bit more of the chances in the ozone time. Just only had the 1 goal to show for it, and now we're all square.
Coming up between frames, we're going to find out whether you're a sandbagger. I've heard a lot of things about you on the golf course. It's Brendan Parker and Jonathan Huberdeau when we get back, and later on, I'll have a chance to chat with Edmonton's new Director of Amateur Scouting, Rick Bracey. That's next. This is the
For it, and now we're all square.
Coming up between frames.
A little bit of nerves, both in the
Effort was
Xavier, maybe take us through game 1 and how you felt throughout that performance.
First game in a while. I mean, I think it takes a couple minutes to get our legs going, but for everybody, it was our first game in a couple of months maybe, but I think we did a pretty good job keeping things simple.
Comparing it to last year and your experience here in Penticton, how much do you feel like your first full pro season helped you? Because it looked like you were kind of having your way with the puck yesterday.
More confidence for sure, making plays. I think as an offensive player, I want to try some stuff sometimes, and that's what I did last night. But for sure, I think I can do better still. But for sure, the confidence is a lot bigger than last year.
When people go into this tournament the second or third time around, they kind of assume a leadership role. Obviously, you're wearing the alternate captain A for this tournament as well. Do you kind of embrace that leadership role and kind of help the new guys out a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. It's fun to lead on the ice, but off the ice too, and just show the way on the ice by doing the right stuff, doing what the coach asks. So yeah, it's fun to wear the A and show the example to the young guys as maybe that's their first NHL camp, so it's pretty fun, yeah.
Xavier, it was really clear that what you were doing on the ice last night, you were really leading by example, kind of helped setting the tone for your team. Do you find that that's a really big element of your game?
Yeah, I think I think it's my third NHL camp there, and I think I'm just more confident. I think we can see it on the ice, making plays. And my season in Bakersfield helped me a lot. I think that was a learning year. I learned a lot of stuff. And they're playing against younger players, but still good players. Helped me making more plays, I think.
You start last night on a high note with that win. Do you find that that energy's carried over even today with morning skate?
Yeah, I think yeah, for sure we had a win, but it's a new day, it's a new team. I think it's gonna be better. I think it was our first game in a while, but for sure we're gonna keep things simple. It's just our second game in a while, but for sure we'll be ready tonight.
Xavier, I know you mentioned adding strength and size was one of your priorities this past offseason. Are you able to share how much muscle you were able to gain, and did you kind of feel it out there? Did it seem like it helped your game a little bit?
Yeah, around 7-8 pounds maybe, but yeah, for sure I'm feeling much stronger in my battles. I think last year I was one of the, maybe not the biggest guy, but I was feeling like I was falling maybe too much sometimes during my battles, so I feel more confident. My battle going on the forecheck, hold on to the puck a bit more, so I feel more comfortable keeping the puck, yeah.
Going back to earlier this week, how was it skating with the captain skates and all the veterans out there in Rogers Place?
Pretty nice, just to see all those guys that already be in Edmonton, make sure they're ready for the camp. But for sure, I had a lot of energy playing with them. It's pushed you to be better on the ice. But I think that gave me a bit of confidence to coming here for rookie camp. Yeah.
As you kind of continue to level up and get more experience, not only at the pro level but your second Penticton tournament, do you kind of get to appreciate how much it takes to become a good pro in terms of the fine details and the commitment it takes to be good?
Yeah, I think that's what I saw last year. I thought I was maybe doing good, but I think there's so much stuff as a young player that you don't know. And that's what happened when you play with some older players. They had experience. They've been in the league for a couple of years, so you learn a lot of stuff, maybe just off the ice, on the ice. So, yeah, I think I'm doing a better job as doing a better pro, but for sure you learn a lot of stuff when you come out of junior. You think you're maybe already good, but you still have a lot of stuff to learn.
What do you think is going to be the biggest difference in your game when you compare and you think about the way that you played last year, now stepping into, yes, rookie camp this week, but also looking ahead to this season?
I think making more plays offensively and just be more comfortable on the ice, playing with more poise with the puck. I think as a young player last year, I was trying to keep things simple. It's your first year, you don't want to make mistake. You want to play, you want to be a good teammate. So yeah, making just more play and be as a young player, I think I'm stronger now, so I'll be better on the forecheck and all those aspects of the game.
Last night we talked with Boakey about how much there's instincts, especially with it being his first experience here, and how much your instincts really kick in.
Yeah.
How much do you find that really plays into your game, and as you get more experience, those just become more intuitive?
Yeah, you can see it. He's still a young player, but you can see he's really offensive. And already as a young age, he had a pretty good game. You can see he's going to be a good defenseman in the league one day, but for sure, he's still pretty good for his age, yeah.
Oilers. And Rick, first of all, welcome to town. Welcome to Penticton. This is, I think, my 9th tournament. In your scouting career, what do you see as the importance of these tournaments, these rookie tournaments, and what you'll take out of it?
For me, it's just the ability for the kids to get introduced to organizations, get comfortable with coaching staffs, get a chance to work within their peer groups and gain experience.
Yeah. Rick, you've had a unique career in the sense when I think of the scouting profession, I think of guys making a number of moves out of necessity. Not so with you. The last 9 years with the Philadelphia Flyers, 14 years with Colorado. What do you bring to Edmonton in terms of your wide range of experience?
I'm hoping just a fresh perspective. I've had a lot of experience. I like the fact that player evaluation, I think, is a strength. I believe that I can identify traits of players, and then I also believe that I have an open-minded approach to it. I think I'm a good listener. I think I have the skills to help our group get organized, and making that list is a very creative process. It's important to have structure. It's important to have coverage. And then for the big part, it's, evaluation is one part of it, but getting the players in the right order can be tricky at times. So I hope I bring value in that department.
You were brought in 3 weeks ago. Is this the continuation of what's been a bit of a crash course in terms of finding what you have in the cupboard? What are the steps in terms of evaluating where you're at and where you'd like to eventually go?
For sure. It's a chance for me, just like we talked about the players, learning the organization. I get a chance to see them, and then it's also doing a lot of listening internally, finding out what we feel about the players and the prospects and some of the decisions that were made and the reasons why. So for me, it's just getting a broad look, a broad spectrum, and then dialing in on the prospects and seeing who we believe are going to be the kids that have the best chance of challenging.
Is it important for you to also get to know your management team, your new management team, your new coaching staff, and find out what they value in terms of putting together a whole picture for yourself?
Absolutely. There's managerial structure.
Yeah.
There's consistency within the organization, development department, pro scouting department, and then the amateur staff. So clearly there's team building dynamics that are at play, and understanding the identity of the team, certain traits that feed into the evaluation, and trying to get that puzzle all to fit.
Rick, it's funny. I talked about your experience, and with Colorado, I'm not going to give you too much credit for Nate McKinnon and Gabe Landeskog. Even in my amateurish opinion, those were slam dunks. However, I do want to talk about 2009 a little bit. Matt Duchene in the first round. Again, maybe not give you too much credit. Ryan O'Reilly in the second round. Tyson Barrie in the third round. When your head hit the pillow that night, did you have any idea what you'd just done? You and your team. I know it's a team.
I think it was the most difficult the night before. After we had the third pick, we had Ryan as a group extremely high on our board. So we'd made a big push late in the first round to acquire a pick. Greg Sherman was the manager at the time. That didn't transpire. So to get Ryan at 33 was a big deal for us. And then we're pretty fortunate that Tyson slipped through the second round as well. Having those picks early in the round certainly helped. As your second to first, as your third to second type of thing. But it was we felt really good about it, and we had a chance to really push for ability-based prospects at that time, and we got fortunate. There's a lot of educated guessing and luck involved too.
I can tell modesty is one of your traits too, because come on, that's the white whale that guys in your profession dream about, getting those three.
It's I don't want to understate it. It doesn't. It helps my confidence in the future, that's for sure. But we also, we ran into some recency bias trying to duplicate it. So it's not without its learning as well. So that's the world of scouting.
Rick, thanks so much for the time. And again, welcome to Oil Country.
Appreciate it. It's an exciting time.
That's Rick Bracey, the new director of amateur scouting for the Edmonton Oilers, whose matchup with the Calgary Flames continues in just a moment from the YoungStars tournament in Penticton.
It's so exciting. This is
Bo, maybe take us through the evening and the first time ever donning the Oilers sweater.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. Obviously, I was super excited out there. It felt good. Felt like I played good, so it was always good to make a good impression right off the bat.
In your own assessment, what were some of the strengths in your game tonight?
Definitely my puck moving ability. Felt I moved it to the forwards real well and got up in the rush, and then the power play obviously was clicking for us tonight. So I felt I did good in those areas.
Pretty decent shot too, hey?
Yeah, thank you.
Was there anything that surprised you out there?
Yeah, it's definitely a faster pace, you know. I think they had like 4 or 5 first-rounders out there. They got some good players. Definitely a quicker pace out there. Definitely more pro. It's different from junior. I'm still trying to catch up to it and feel my way out here, but it was good out there.
You mentioned the success of the power play, of course, with your goal there. Did you feel like you were in the zone ready to make that happen?
Yeah, 100%. I kind of saw those. Their one forward kind of sinking low on Petrov's side, and I was wide open and called for it, and thankfully Savvy passed it to me, so it's a good play by him.
As the games continue to level up as you progress through your career, does that kind of make you wonder how much it is instincts? Because you don't necessarily have the time to think at that speed, and how much you have to rely on your offensive instincts.
Yeah, definitely, because, you don't know a ton of guys. I know a couple, Tulio, Petrov, these guys that I played against, but other than that, I've never played with any of the guys out here. So I think definitely the whole team's relying on instincts right now, and I think a lot of the guys out there today, every single one of them relied on their instincts, and we did a pretty good job.
What was your assessment of Xavier Bourgault? Of course, the only first-rounder on the team, and it looked like he had a pretty good outing here.
Yeah, every time I see Xavier, I'm impressed. I was roommates with him at Dev Camp. Great person, great hockey player. Surprised me every time he's on the ice, that's for sure.
It's your first appearance in a full Oilers uniform. You have a multi-point night. What is it like to hear that about yourself?
Pretty cool. Yeah, it still hasn't really sunk in. It's still all new feelings, and pretty cool to wear that jersey out there.
How was your summer, and how was the training as you get set to begin rookie camp?
It was a really good summer. I think I got a lot stronger, lost a little bit of weight, got a lot faster. So I think just learning as I go through here. It was kind of my second summer as a pro, so just building off of it and hopefully have a good year this year. Good start.
Is that the Oilers kind of give you programs and check in on you, and is some of it just even yourself sort of learning more and more what it's like to be a pro?
Yeah, I think you can always learn so much about your own body. There's tons of things you can learn, and then obviously with the help of Chad and Joel, they've done a tremendous job helping me out this summer too.
What is the biggest jump between NCAA and pro hockey?
I think it's a little bit more of a business side. At school, you're devoted to the school, you're invested in the school. It's more of like a kind of that atmosphere. Now you're working for your life, your job. You're competing against men trying to take their spot, trying to take their job. So you got to come in with a good attitude and just work your hardest. So.
How difficult was your first year with getting traction?
I think a couple injuries kind of slowed me down a little bit. It's tough to find your legs after.
This is our launch of the season event. We have 400 people on 18-hole courses.
a fresh perspective.
This quick release, beating lead, double release, and as we get ready for the second period.
And I feel like Tyler Tullio, he's again the shots 9-6 for the Flames. I mentioned my partner, and will round out the tournament at 1:30 with a matchup against the host Canucks. Max Wanner with control of the puck. He got the primary assist on the Oiler equalizer. Sent up by Tullio and guided back behind Diot. Akey first to reach the puck, but brushed off. Now Lipinski. An attempted clear, bottled up by Bourgault. Trying to protect, spins, dishes, and then little miscommunication is Van Vliet not in the spot that Savoy expected him to be. Van Vliet to Savoy, knocked off his stick, but now Berglund a centering pass. Bourgault the tip, but a save made by Connor Murphy as he'll gobble it up with a minute and a half gone by in the second period, and the game tied at 1.
Seeing a few conversations after the stoppage. This one just close to being right on the tape of Bourgault. A nice play by Berglund to try to get it to where it's going. Xavier Bourgault doing what you should do is driving the net, getting into the front, but it's just out of his reach, and Murphy ends up scooping that one up easily.
Jake Sloan, who scored twice in the win over the Jets last night, able to win the faceoff. He's a dual citizen, was born in Great Britain, dual British and Canadian. Here's Lucas Siona. That's swept in. Van Mulligan carved it back to center and turned over to Stonehouse with Sloan. Couldn't get it to him. Dashing over to make a play, Gorley. Gave way to McCoy. Fished out by Siona. And he's able to locate Pilling, who's tied up by Gansky. Van Mulligan will swing it down low. Sloan drop to one knee. He'll try to protect. Pilling hovering close by. Eventually rake free. Siona did not get it out. Vereau pesky, but ultimately the Flames able to bring it through neutral. Stromgren will shoot it in, and that's going to be held by Bowen.
A lot of teammate connections in this game here tonight. The couple of Moncton Wildcats, one on each side of it. We've talked about the pair of Vancouver Giants. Nathan Pilling, Max Wanner would have played together for part of last season as well in Moose Jaw. A lot of familiarity between these guys. A couple of Calgary hitmen as well. One of them not in the lineup in Dylan Galloway, but there you see Oliver Tulloch lining up here for the Flames, a member of the Calgary Hitmen in junior.
The Wildcats you mentioned are on the ice right now. Moran for the Flames, who just got beaten off the blue line, and Lounsbury for the Oilers, who's hovering, looking for a chance, but Moran is able to recover. And it's sent ahead by Nikolaev. Shot attempted by Dewart, and that was broken up. Now Vereau, he'll spin it safely back through the neutral zone. Turned over by Kuznetsov. Now the aforementioned Lounsbury is shot, deflected away by Nikolaev. Softly off the boards, Tulk sends it behind Wanner, who rides him against the boards, and now Akey gives way. Lounsbury cut off at center. Tullio cross ice. Taken by Bell and kicked back. Diot to Gorley, broken up by Tullio, but now Bell on a deflection, trying to take Van Vliet out wide. His attempted shot deflected into the corner. Cairns a drive-by. Grube had it, lost it. Petrov with support up the gut, and now Akey on his horse up to center. He'll shoot it in. To play it, Murphy. Akey from the half wall, tipped a couple of times. Not cleared. Van Vliet. Diot. Got it past Grube, but not Tullio. Quick shot, Petrov did not make its way through, and now Bell. Soft dump in. Calgary will change. Akey. Lead pass Tullio. Dropped it off. Got it right back from Berglund. Jammed against the boards by Hanzik. Tullio able to spin off that check. Maintain possession for a moment, but now Lipinski, as Savoy lost his stick. Hacked back in by Tullio, but there's Monte. Chipped up the right-hand side. And eventually handled by Bowen himself. Now Gansky. Off the boards and out. Berglund finds Bourgault. Across. Savoy able to collect eventually. Bourgault looked like he had a path to the net. Elected to defer. Now Berglund cuts to the middle. A shot off the glove. A save. And then Bourgault could not find for a rebound. Back on the puck, however. Controlling deep in the corner. Jammed up against the boards. And eventually McCoy and Lipinski combined for a clear. This will be a penalty as Bernard took down Klapka. Second penalty in as many nights issued to Xavier Bernard.
Looked like as Klapka tried to chip that past him and get by, Bernard kind of got the skate in behind him, a little slew foot, and took him down. He'll get called for the trip. You see Klapka, the big man, going down, snapped his stick in the defensive zone just moments before that. Right here on this big, heavy hit on the end boards. Stick looked like it took the brunt of it, and it snapped in half. It helped lead to one of the Oilers' chances here as he walked out in front, and Bourgault had to look at the rebound, wasn't able to find the handle.
Bernard, one of 2 NHL draft picks that weren't taken by Edmonton. Originally selected with a 4th-round pick, New Jersey Devils in 2018. The other being Grube, who was acquired from the New York Rangers for a 5th-round pick. He had originally been selected by the Blue Shirts in the 3rd round back in 21. So this is the Flames' second power play. 0 for 4 thus far in the tournament. Carried in by Morin. Grube defending down low with Tullio challenging up top. Coronado could give way to Morin. Over to Bell. Tried to thread it through traffic. It was tipped by the Oilers, but Coronado maintains. Morin allowed it to crawl outside in the estimation of our 2 linesmen tonight, so the faceoff will come back to neutral the minute 23 on the Flame power play.
So we talked about Morin operating that number 1 unit for the Calgary Flames, and interesting because as a 2nd-round draft pick, we'll take a look at, see if we can see any white between the puck and the blue line. Pretty tough to tell from that angle, but close enough. I'd say the linesman in this case probably had the best view of it, so we'll trust his view and his decision. But Morin asked him this morning, as he's was selected by Calgary, obviously from the Montreal area, got a text from Jonathan Huberdeau, hey, why don't you come and skate with us this summer? He drove about an hour and 20 minutes, joined him for a couple of skates. Said it was, if you would have told me 2 years ago I'd be getting a text from Jonathan Huberdeau, I'd have said you're out of your mind. A pretty excited young defenseman in Etienne Morin to join Huberdeau for some skates this summer.
You grow up quick in this league. Morin last year led all Quebec League defensemen in goals with 21. Sent around the boards, Stromgren. DeYoung ties him up. Spun down, however, by Lipinski. Now Warner will have a chance to clear. Lipinski pestering, but Warner undeterred with a clear up the right-hand boards. Flame power play down to a half minute. Bourgault with pressure up ice. The outlet to Hanzik. Lipinski gathers. Stromgren with a reverse hit on Berglund, but it does not pan out. Bourgault will clear it back to Berglund, and Edmonton will take it in deep shorthanded. Kuznetsov able to cut off Berglund. And now Siona. One last rush for the Flames on the power play as they try to regain the lead. 1-1, 7 minutes gone by, second period. Flames in the red, Oilers in the white. Down low, Bell. He's tied up. Nikolaev gets it back, drives toward the net, and a shot off the blocker of Bowen. As the Flames return to full strength, their best chance came just as Edmonton returned to full strength. Bowen stopping Nikolaev, who kind of created by his lonesome. They won't give him the deflection. He was close to center, but they're going to call that icing against Calgary. 12:26 to go, second period, and our game remains tied at 1.
Edmonton penalty kill continues to work at a high rate of efficiency. They haven't given up a lot in terms of chances, and they haven't given up any goals. That more importantly, yeah. So obviously they've found a nice mix of PK so far. Again, one of those things that's hard to do early in a tournament.
Warner a drive from distance, a save, a rebound twisted wide by Grube. Then he tried an interior pass, and we've got a penalty coming against the Flames, and it looks like Ilya Nikolaev will be sent off for hooking at 7:42 of this second period, and it'll be the Oilers looking for their first lead of the night.
Tyler Tullio was the one standing there looking for the rebound, and it was Nikolaev that gets the stick inside the body. As we take another look at it, he had the face-off with Jaden Grube, and then he goes to the front of the net. There's the tie-up. It was Grube that he ended up holding him up, trying to get to the loose puck. So there's the minor, and once again, the power play goes back to work for the Edmonton Oilers.
Carl Berglund will take the draw and win it against Oliver Tulk. Akey under duress. Bourgault shot Savoy, and a glove save made by Murphy. Again, looking calm and controlled, and he'll await a face-off to his left.
A nice subtle play, a little no-look backhand pass here to help free things up. That was Bourgault. He knows he's got a body out there, and it's Savoy who's ready to take that pass, walks in and gets a pretty good look. But as you said, Murphy, calm, collected, makes the glove save, and gets the stoppage.
Against the finisher, I mean, Savoy not only lit it up in the AJ, but of course sent the University of Denver to an eventual national championship, eliminated that Michigan juggernaut with an overtime winner a couple years ago at the NCAA Frozen Four. Big hit. Savoy able to shrug it off, but ultimately the Flames are able to pound it down. Bowen out to handle. Hanzik token pressure, and it was scooped by him by Bowen over to Bo Akey. Minute 15 on the power play. Gathering steam, Savoy. Petrov. Bourgault. Akey. Threw it over to Berglund. Able to locate off the left half boards and give way ultimately to Matvei Petrov. Pass pinballed out to Akey. Gets it back. Doesn't one-time it. Tough pass for Petrov. Eventually finds it in his skates. Berglund inside. And a nice play with a stick by Connor Murphy. Here's Petrov. Little give and go. Gets it back. Swung it in front. Bourgault is shot off the pads. Rebound Savoy. Fired it off of Murphy. Rebound Petrov. Absorbs the hit. Akey nearly gave it away. Nice play by Bourgault to keep it alive. Savoy, a shot that was blocked. Akey blew a wheel, but he's able to regain Lipinski pressure. And now he'll want to change. And Akey thought he had drawn another penalty. It went undetected. Klapka might have taken him down. He'll launch toward the Oiler net. Brendan was very cordial toward the officiating crew. Some of the partisans here in Penticton, not so much. Big hit. That shook it free. Grube over. A one-timer fanned upon by Tullio. Then he was taken out of the play, and Hanzik had a chance to clear, did not get it done. Power play is over, however. Calgary back at full strength, and now Grube is going to get called for a cross-check. He absolutely drilled Dewart right in the back, and now we've got a little battle of Alberta. Rough stuff, face-washing. Bernard fresh out of the box in the mix.
Jared Gorley right in the center, but I think the linesman might be getting the worst of it at this point.
Yeah, you've got some gloves up around the facial area. Right in front of the Edmonton bench, Colin Chalk looking on. And still a wrestling match. Bit of a two-point takedown there at the end. And ultimately they'll have to sort this one out. And look, it's the YoungStars tournament. A lot of these players, their first exposure to the Battle of Alberta, but it seems to come all too naturally, does it not, Brendan?
It does, and I think the fans would agree in here. You love every minute of it because that intensity, the animosity, it doesn't have to be made up. It is there, and it starts with the group cross-check. And I don't know what hurt Dewart worse, if it was the cross-check or the fact that I think his face went right into the back of Samuel Hanzik. Yeah, absolutely. And here's a look, earlier chance. Carter Savoy had another good look coming in off that wing. But this time it was Murphy who actually recovered and got his shoulder on it. That 6'4" frame of Connor Murphy helps him out there to get up big, make the save on Carter Savoy with a couple looks on that power play. Still some sticks laying on the ice and some helmets as they sort this out as to what it looks like. Obviously the original was a power play going to the Calgary Flames. We'll see what else they figure out.
I imagine we're going to have 4 separate coincidental roughing minors handed out, as there's 3 Oilers in the box and 2 Flames. Edmonton initially frustrated. Akey thought he had drawn a call against Klapka. And then moments later, the obvious cross-check from Jaden Grube.
It was an interesting sequence because at one point, it looked like it might be a breakaway for Lipinski, but Akey nicely recovered and then did another nice move. It was one of the ones that drew a penalty earlier, a nice little spin move to create separation, and then it did look like he got taken down by Adam Klapka, but no call, and it'll be the Flames power play by the looks of things here. That's what's on the board right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just coincidental roughing minors across the board.
There's another look at the trip by Klapka. It does catch the shin pad for sure, but I don't mind the no call there.
Shocker. Face off right side of Zach Bowen. And it will be Calgary looking to regain the lead here. The extra penalty, of course, handed out to Grube for the initial cross check. And the Oiler penalty kill will be put to the test one more time. A perfect 7 for 7 thus far in the tournament. 30 minutes complete here in Penticton. Tied at 1. Flames on the power play. Berglund, Bourgault, Van Vliet, and Warner for Edmonton. Parker Bell for Calgary over to Coronado. His wrist shot denied by Bowen. Up top is Morin. Cairns and Klapka round out the Calgary fivesome. Parker Bell shot deflected up and out of play here at the South Okanagan Events Center. And I think you'd agree with me, just a gorgeous facility. Not just great weather here, but this facility, I think you could slide right into the Western Hockey League and never know it.
Without a doubt. You got the practice facilities. We take another look at the Coronado chance coming off the wing. He's had a few good looks at that release so far in this hockey game, but at the South Okanagan Event Center is a perfect location. You got enough room for 4 NHL clubs in here. Obviously, great fan support for the Penticton Vs, and the practice facility is obviously outstanding to have everybody make sure they get their ice time, get their reps in as well. Vs played here this afternoon against Chilliwack as well in exhibition play.
Here's Moran, a shot up top, and that was blocked. Of course, a couple of Oilers past and present. Bob Nicholson, Andy Moog adorn the rafters here. Moran will move it quickly. Parker Bell tried to center, and that went off the pads of Bowen, lunged forward. Both Bowen and Murphy have shown willingness to challenge pucks above their blue paint. Moran, a shot that does not make its way through. Double deflection. Eventually, Gansky with a chance to clear did not get it done. Klapka took a hit. Stonehouse with an opportunity to move it to Warner, and finally it's rifled down the right-hand side. We go inside, 9 minutes to play second period. Shots have been split evenly in this game. 12 apiece. Half minute on the power play. Rushing in, Lipinski. Drove it down deep. After it, but unable to clear Van Mulligan. Mante up top, lets fly, redirected and taken off the goal line. A brilliant job of locating that puck from Van Mulligan, and he's able to send it the full 200. That would have gone in had Van Mulligan not pried it off the line. Stromgren caught a Gansing blow from Jake Sloan, was unable to clear. Power play is over. Hanzik up top, a shot redirected dangerously over the net. Siona won a battle in the corner. McCoy takes a shot. And Bowen might have gotten a piece of that as well. Mante down low. Digging in Van Mulligan, who saved the goal moments ago to keep this game tied at 1. Dugout, Siona. On him is Grube, fresh out of the box. Van Vliet comes over to help. Siona still with the puck under wraps. Dewart can't get there. Van Vliet had a chance to move it, did not. And once again, Dewart helps maintain possession in the offensive zone. McCoy is shot. That blistered wide. Caromed off the end wall. Mante down low, centering pass, one-timer score. What a beautiful play. Dewart inside, and the finish. Nikolaev, who's been all around the net, has scored his second goal of the game to make it 2-1 for the Flames.
Flames all kinds of energy in the offensive zone, retrievals, creating turnovers. They roll 2 line changes through it, and it finally pays off thanks to some good work down low. Look at Zach Manti, twice holds it in on the line, and then how about the sauce from Dewart right in front to Nikolaev, who buries his second of this hockey game. Dewart, look at the patience around to spin off a check. He draws 2 Oiler defenders to come to him, and then inside it's Nikolaev. Great play by the Calgary Flames. Forward groupings to make this one
pay. With determined work 5-on-5 after failing to convert the power play. Bourgault. Berglund with support, and now a penalty has been called. And the Oilers will go back to the man advantage. And now, as we saw yesterday in Edmonton's first game, the penalty starting to accumulate as Wanner's shot disappears into the leather of goaltender Connor Murphy. 6.5 to go in the second period. And when we Nikolaev just scoring moments ago at even strength at 12:51 of this second period. Dewart, and we're going to arbitrarily award an assist to Quinn Manti, who put it behind the net. A look at the penalty that has set Edmonton up with its current power play. And Joey Rocha, just 1 year in the Western Hockey League, went 8-5 for the Swift Current Broncos with a .906 save percentage. So he enters the game. One of 15 training camp invites for the Edmonton Oilers that are gathered here in Penticton. And now the Oilers, who are 1 for 4 on the power play thus far, or this being their 4th opportunity, I should say, will look to cash in and tie it once again. And they'll do it with Grube, Tullio, and Chason to start, along with Stonehouse and Max Wanner. Lead pass, Nikolaev, who has both Calgary goals and a couple of other tremendous chances. Wanner, the outlet to Ty Tullio. In the box, Parker Bell for Calgary. Chason protecting. Grube. Tullio peering into that mass of sticks and skates, trying to pry the puck out of there. Power play drained to 125. Calgary wins the battle. And a clear delivered length of the ice by Jared Gorley. Tullio quickly back in, but an offside whistled against Edmonton with 5:49 on the game clock and 1:18 left in the minor penalty to Parker Bell of the Flames.
Nice quick up there. Tulio didn't like the call. He thought he held himself onside, but ends up stepping in just an edge over as we got some equipment still laying on the ice. But the Oilers power play, it's been pretty efficient. They've moved the puck really well, especially this unit. This is the number one unit, comes back over the boards. Savoy had a couple of real good looks in their third power play opportunity. They'll get some time here extended, about $1:18 left for the number one unit to go to work.
Clean face-off win by Tulk, and that allows the Flames to fall back in a defensive posture. Kuznetsov takes it for McCoy, and then he'll launch down low for Tulk. They can do it all over again, but that was negated by the fact that Boake came over and dropped Tulk. Savoy and Berglund. Savoy hard rim around to Petrov. Snapped a pass, didn't realize how close Akey was, and now the other way comes Pilling with a shot shorthanded, fought off by Rocha. And it's swept around the boards, and Gorley again will have ample time to send it over. Diot, smart slap pass to Nikolaev, shorthanded chance, and that was sent wide by Pilling. Maybe Rocha got a piece. 5 minutes to go in the period, and the Oiler power play has dwindled to 25 seconds. Petrov scampers through neutral, dropped it off, and then got it back from Berglund, but he got smoked by Diot. Coming over with support to keep it alive momentarily was Bernard. Warner finding Bourgault. His shot pinballed on net, a save made by Murphy. Rebound to Warner. Another shot. That one blocked by a diving Dewart, and it's cleared back. Warner able to hold the zone. Now 5-on-5. Diot will spin it over, and Gorley with time to find Parker Bell, fresh out of the box. Gains the line and drops it into heavy coverage. Verreau gives way to Warner. He'll steer it down the right-hand side. Lounsbury beaten to the puck. That was well played by Moran. Nifty play, creates a 3-on-2. Cairns, Coronado, his shot stuffed. Parker Bell with support, but taken off the puck immediately, cleared by DeYoung. Kind of a matchup of first versus fourth line, but Edmonton's unit gets it down deep. Verreau and Lounsbury get a shot away. Coronado flung it back into the Edmonton zone and then beat Gansky to the puck to create a second chance. Cairns, Lounsbury on him. Van Mulligan up the boards, and Verreau a smart clear to center. 3.5 to go, second period. Calgary leading 2-1, having outshot Edmonton 16-12 tonight. Flames 13 shots all game last night in a dreary 7-1 loss. Stonehouse getting worked over by McCoy. Sent across. Akey waits, dishes. Looking to pull the trigger and finally whacked wide by Sloan. Chason did not get a shot away. Stonehouse, Chason turned over, and McCoy will lob it back to center. Settled and fired back in immediately by Akey. Now it's McCoy, turned it over, quick chance save! And then Sloan pushed it wide. Sloan was right place, right time last night with a goal on a deflection and then a sitter on a rebound. And he was almost gifted a third goal in this tournament on that turnover. McCoy trying to atone and get it clear, but Savoy keeping the pressure on behind the net for Sloan. Centering pass deflected away at the last moment from the dangerous Bourgault, and Hanzik wisely gets it in deep. Klapka ridden hard against the boards by Noah Van Vliet, who attended Toronto's development camp back in July. Gorley looking to create space. His shot tipped wide. Van Vliet on it, and he's able to clear. Ooh, big hit, and he went through the door, the Calgary door, and took a couple of extra shots for his trouble. In the meantime, the Flames break through center. Pilling hits the trailer. The quick tish was tipped away by Tulio, and now it's Grube finding Petrov. And all of a sudden, the pace is picked up significantly. Final 90 seconds, second period. Oh, another big hit. Stromgren a glancing blow on the slippery Tulio. Hard to get a clean shot on him. Stromgren carries toward the net. Shot deflected away by Warner. Weird hop off the dasher, but well played and cleared by Bernard, who joined Bakersfield late last season, got 12 games in there. Bernard able to backhand it inside the Calgary line. Final minute of play now, second period. Etienne Morin quickly off Nikolaev. His go-ahead goal earlier in the second period. The difference right now, 2-1 for the Flames. Rolled on net. Murphy not taking any chances. He'll flop on it with 49.6 on the clock.
You mentioned the pace picking up. So was the physicality. A few big hits by both teams, including Adam Klapka on Carter Savoy. Prized the door open at the Flames bench. Not a lot of chances coming from it, but no stoppages. This was the first one off the turnover by Donovan McCoy. It was Sloan in front that is unable to finish it as Murphy stands tall. But this was the big hit by Adam Klapka right at the Flames bench. Just catch the tail end of it as they both go springing through the Calgary Flames back door. And then I think a little, as Savoy was trying to get out of there, got a little flick from the glove of Adam Klapka for his troubles. But the physicality, the pace, impressive to finish the second period by both teams.
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand. Once the hits started picking up, all of a sudden, a little more action. And off the draw, grab by Tulk. Final half minute. Gansky able to settle and find Chason. The outlet, Stonehouse. He's tied up by Nikolaev, who's been impressive tonight beyond the 2 goals that he scored. Soccered it free for Tulk. And now a tip pass, and that was dangerous lateral that Coronado got a stick on against Van Mulligan. He's in trouble, but he may have drawn a play in on the hands from Coronado. That's that hook that we saw really emphasized at the beginning of last season. He got the stick in on the hands, and Van Mulligan does a nice job of not only fending that off, but ultimately drawing a penalty. And Edmonton, at the very least, will open the third period with a fresh sheet of ice and the man advantage as they look to tie the score.
As soon as the official sees the hands or the body start to turn back, a lot of times you'll get that call. If the stick is into the body and the opponent ends up turning his back in, that usually gets enough to get the call. And in this case, Coronado didn't like it, but it goes off for hooking.
Brendan Park will have New Calgary Flames head coach Ryan Huska between frames, but first the final 10 seconds. A drive from the point, slithers wide from Petrov. Savoy to Bourgault off the side of the net and then poked in front and grabbed by Murphy with 3.5 seconds left on the clock. Edmonton has rattled off the last 4 shots on net. Once again, 32 shots on net have been split evenly between the 2 teams, but it's Nikolaev with a goal in each of the first 2 periods. Stonehouse, the power play tally for Edmonton, and we're sitting at 2-1. Grube with presumably the final draw this second period. Nikolaev won it. Calgary will kill the clock, and we'll head to the third period with the Flames holding a 2-1 lead in their attempt to deal Edmonton its first regulation loss at this tournament in 10 years, covering a span of 16 games. And I mean, I know he has the 2 goals, so at the risk of sounding obvious, but I'd say it's been his all-ice game. Ilya Nikolaev has been impressive tonight.
Well, I was just going to say, Jack, well said, because the 2 goals obviously will stand out. But as a coaching staff, when they're standing on the bench and you got 3 seconds left on the clock, they'll love that situational defensive zone faceoff. Wins that clean. They get out of the period. Coaches will love that. The scouts will love that. Management will love that. 2 goals are nice, but when you're playing in all situations and performing the way Nikolaev has, that's a good first 2 periods from Nikolaev and the Calgary Flames to take a 2-1 lead.
Oilers outshoot the Flames in period 2, 10-7, but it's the Flames that get the only goal. Nikolaev, his second of the night, and it's been the difference thus far in the Battle of Alberta at the 10th YoungStars tournament from the South Okanagan Events Center in Penticton, BC.
After you get hurt or you miss a little bit of time, but I think there's obviously some good things that I took away from it, and then obviously there's lots that you can learn. So hopefully take those learning steps this year and have a good year.
Players are always looking to improve. When you evaluate yourself, what were the things that you specifically felt like, this is what I want to improve to be a better pro next year?
A big thing for me, I think, was my body. I wanted to come into good shape for this camp, and I think I did a really good job this summer preparing myself to come into camp in a good shape.
You have a reputation, talk to some goalies, like your shot's obviously maybe your best attribute. You can really fire the puck. How do you feel like, is getting in positions to use that shot more a key thing? And how much difficult is that more in the pros than it was maybe in NCAA?
Yeah, a little less time and space. I mean, obviously the guys are bigger, a little stronger. So, I mean, it's tough to find those open ice, but there's open ice all over the offensive zone, and it's just up to me to find those soft spots on the ice and get open there.
You talked about playing for your career and your life, really. How does that kind of heighten the expectation for you this week and wanting to make a good first impression coming into a new year?
Yeah, I'm really excited. New year, new opportunity. You never know what can happen in camp. You just kind of got to go out there and perform your best, and yeah, everything will kind of take place from there.
The injuries such that you're saying to yourself, it's not like you ripped up your knee and we're done for the whole year.
And in this case, Detroit was looking to add a player like Klim Kostin, and they ended up taking Klim and taking Kyler Yamamoto as well.
Knew we weren't going to be able to find a way to keep him, so obviously had to trade a player. Steve Yzerman was really interested in Klim Kostin, and $3 million for Yamo. I had to get some money off the cap. So he'll be Kostin and Yamamoto.
We didn't know what they were going to do with Kyler, but at the end of the day, it was two players off of our roster, both players that we liked, that we would have liked to have brought back, but just due to cap constraints, we weren't able to. And that deal ended up coming together that morning.
Yeah, Steve? If you do the two players, I'll do the two players.
Just official, we're working on it. Kyler Yamamoto and Klim Kostin go from Edmonton to Detroit for future considerations.
I like Yamo. Again, when we did it last year, I had no idea what the cap was going to be this year. Hoping that maybe we could catch up and get the cap moving. Cap doesn't move. It goes from 82.5 to 83.5. So got to make difficult decisions. This is going to be shot.
Prior to COVID, players were getting traded, and the contract wasn't as much of a roadblock to moving some players. And now you see that good players are traded for late round picks. Good players are traded for nothing, because cap space is really a big asset right now with the way things have progressed over the last few years.
Good morning, Nashville. Welcome to day 2 of the 2023 NHL Draft, during which our clubs will make their selections in the 2nd through 7th rounds.
Did you have Earl Grey tea in there?
Yeah.
Do they have it?
I see.
Earl Grey tea with sugar, but what you do with it's called Earl Grey.
Yeah.
It's the granddaddy of all teas. So you dip it about 6-8 times, and then you throw the tea bag in the garbage, put in 1 bag of sugar, and I would love it.
Okay.
Thank you.
The granddaddy of them all. The granddaddy of them all.
Oh, thank you. That's hot. Oh, that's okay. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Barry, Ontario. Barry, Ontario. Make it?
Yeah, make the pick. As the picks go, so does the highlighter. So kind of thought it was maybe 50-50 he'd be there, and for us, luckily enough for us, he wasn't.
Ready? Bo Akey? Defenseman Bo Akey.
You think it?
Yeah. We had him targeted, probably a little bit higher, and unfortunately for him, he fell, but we're grateful he did.
From Barrie, defenseman Bo Akey.
This is the type of guy here at 56 I think Edmonton would be really happy with getting here. Again, you're looking at a list of players that I think a lot of people, probably up until about 50, would have had in their first round. And that's why we haven't seen a ton of action yet. People really happy about what they're getting here.
Bo? I'm Jamie. I'm the Director of Communications. Welcome. Great to have you.
He's smart with the puck. He's an elite skater. He can transport it with his legs and his feet. Thought we were going to get a pretty decent player. We really like him. Real smooth skating, smart puck-moving defenseman guy that put up some numbers in the OHL. So really happy that he fell to us. And you know, a little bit of lacking in the organization on the right side too, so kind of hit two birds with one stone. I think 5 years from now, if you had Bush, Akey, and Warner, I think you're pretty happy.
Congrats, buddy. Oh my gosh. Bo, congratulations. How does it feel?
Thank you. It's an unbelievable feeling. It's just a sigh, a relief when I heard my name be called, and I can't even speak right now. It's I'm just honored to be drafted by such a good organization.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, we need your name on that board.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear Edmonton Oilers?
Oh, obviously McDavid and Draisaitl, and obviously Bouchard's had an awesome year. One of those guys too, and Skinner.
You excited to meet that guy? He doesn't seem like a real person. I only see him on TV.
I'm going to have you pop this hat on real quick, and this tie will go around the back of your neck. Okay. You don't need to put it on. Oh. Where are you playing next year?
Barry.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. Just like this?
Just like that. Okay. Perfect. Those are both player worn now, so you can pop those on.
That's funny that you guys do
that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, congrats, man. Best of luck. We'll be rooting for you next year.
Thank you.
Bo, congratulations, and welcome to Edmonton.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, Yamo, it's Ken Holland. I'm sure you heard that I talked to JP Berry, some heads up. We have to move you to Detroit. On myself,
I think we've had a number of conversations with some of our own players and their representation, and I think a lot of people saw that $3.1 million come off the board and think that we had $3.1 million to spend at that point in addition. But the reality was that was just to get us cap compliant for next year.
When we did the ammo deal, he said, does that change your offer? Ken said, no. That was the 400 we were over.
You get a chance.
Okay, boys. What do we got?
Welcome back to the YoungStars Classic, Penticton, BC. It is the South Okanagan Event Center. I'm pleased to welcome in the new head coach of the Calgary Flames, Ryan Huska. Huska, first of all, let's just start with being back here in Penticton. Obviously, this is a highlight to kind of get.
You just couldn't. You got hurt, and then you came back and you got hurt. Was that the problem?
Yeah, a little frustration. I mean, you come back, you think you're feeling good, and then a little tweak here, a little tweak there, and it just doesn't feel right out there. And you don't feel like yourself. You're not playing the way you feel like you can play, or you can play. So I mean, I think putting that in the past and just moving forward from that, learning from it, and coming out this year ready to go. Body's feeling really good. So yeah, I'm excited.
You talked to Mike Benning.
I talk to Mike all the time, pretty much every day. I mean, we're still super close. Obviously, he's on his journey now with Florida this year, so hopefully he has some good luck in camp. And
he was kind of hanging around the team in the playoffs, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was up there.
Locker. I noticed one day they had his name on a locker stall.
Oh yeah. No, he was up. He went right from Denver to Florida there.
So you look at the big team, and this, the Oilers are better and deeper than they've been in a long time, which means it's a harder club to make. Is that when you guys are looking ahead at, where is there going to be an in on this roster? How does that impact your kind of thought process?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to make any NHL roster these days. There's good players all over the place, and I think with Edmonton here, it's a good opportunity always to prove yourself, play your best. I mean, I think for me, bearing on my opportunities, getting to that soft spots in the open ice, moving my feet, all those little things, I think make sure I have a good camp here and show well. So
you said you worked on your body. Did you lose weight or just reproportion it differently?
Yeah, I lost a little bit of weight, proportioned it a little differently, I guess, if you want to say that.
Work on that all morning. Watch Savoy take about 15 backhands from about that spot this morning before morning skate, practicing that exact release.
Tulio gives it up. Now Brady Stonehouse shoots and scores. Brady Stonehouse, the Ottawa 67, who scored 37 goals last season, buries one to tie the game on the Oiler power play. That's a double minor, by the way, on Coronado, so the Oilers will remain on the power play as it drew blood on the high stick. And Stonehouse able to beat Murphy.
Some nice puck movement around the perimeter. Gets it to Stonehouse, who has plenty of time and space to walk in. You mentioned the 37 goals last season. Went from 18 the year before that. So a big jump in goals, big jump in offense from Brady Stonehouse. They don't need a lot of space, and guys work on that all morning. Watch Savoy take about 15 backhands from about that spot this morning before morning skate, practicing that exact release.
That too, yeah. But yeah, no, lots of work. Worked on the cardio quite a bit this summer too, so just making sure all those are in check.
So everybody says when you leave college and go play pro, it's much different. Now you've had it 1 year and you think to yourself, yeah, they're absolutely right. These guys are pros playing for a living, and going from college to pro, whether it's in the NHL or the minors, is a large step.
Yeah, definitely. I think, just from going from college, you're playing against guys your own age pretty much for the most part, whereas you get here and you got that big jump, whereas there's guys 10, however many years older than me. So I think that's probably the biggest factor, yeah.
Just one for me. Penticton's a weird place because it's all these guys from all these teams that come together and shake hands today, and you're on the ice like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is it more difficult to stand out in an atmosphere where it's the team concept's going to be hard to figure out in 3 days? How do you do that?
Tryouts can always be tough to get a rhythm with the guys you're playing with, obviously, because you've never really had experience with them. But, I think to just kind of stick to the strengths that I'm good at, focusing on those areas, having getting up and down the ice well, good skating, all that kind of stuff, get familiar with everyone. Just get a good start going there.
Were you hurt at last year's camp?
Yeah, I hurt. Last year I got hurt at the tournament, yeah.
So what was it that you got hurt? Hurt your knee?
Yeah, it was my knee, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, a little sore, but it's feeling good now, so it's all good.
Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome to a special video. That's right, as the whiteboard says, OAD, G7A, Gravity 7 Apparel. That's right, this is our first official sponsor. Gravity 7 Apparel, thank you for coming on board with Oilers After Dark. Here you go, and if you're asking and wondering, what is G7A? G7A or Gravity 7 Apparel is your one-stop shop for all merchandise needs. Looking for a positive-driven brand message that uplifts, empowers, and installs confidence. This is for you. A locally made brand empowerment that hits close to home. More on that. What is G7A? Gravity 7 Apparel. Well, Gravity 7 Apparel was established in 2019, so a little over 4 years ago. They are locally owned in Red Deer, Alberta. And what they are is they are a fashion company. They make clothing with logos, funny sayings. It's a pretty good website. I will let you know how to get that and where to go. They are also a company that thrives on community and giving back. Twice a year they have a fundraiser, which is amazing because we here at Oilers After Dark are also about giving back to the community. They are a family-owned company run by a mom and son. So you won't have to worry about any big chain store prices, gouging, and any of that stuff. It's just a little mom and pop shop, so to speak. You can always go check them out at gravity7apparel.com or on socials with Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Gravity 7 Apparel or G7A. Now, like I said, they are locally owned, they are locally operated. Like I said, they are locally owned, they are locally operated. They have tons of merchandise over there. They have shirts, they have hats, they have sweaters. You name it, they have it. Some of their shirts have funny little sayings on them, some of them just have logos. It's definitely worth checking out, so if you are in the need for a shirt, hat, or sweater, go check out Gravity 7 Apparel. Again, thank you, Gravity 7 Apparel, for sponsoring us. It is a huge step in Oilers After Dark. From all of us at Oilers After Dark, thank you. Have yourselves a good day. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Share this message. Gravity 7 Apparel. Check them out. See you guys in the next video.
We'll try to get it sorted out for the third period.
Oh, trust me. As long as you're with me, you won't recover. You got to get far, far away from yours truly. He's Brendan Parker. I'm Jack Michaels, and this is the start of the third period with the Oilers looking to get the equalizer on the power play. Their only goal tonight came by way of the man advantage, and here's Nikolaev with both Calgary goals, looking for the Hattie, but denied on that short wrist shot by Joey Rocha, who relieved starter Zach Bowen. It was a planned kind of 30-ish, 30 split tonight. Matvei Petrov steps up, and it goes off the skate of Carl Berglund and into the net for the tying goal. Deadlocked at 2, 44 seconds in. You are allowed to redirect off the skate. That did not, at first glance, look like a kick.
No, not at all. I think there's no discussion on this one. I don't even know if Berglund was looking at the puck at the time it goes off his skate. We'll take a look at the replay, but he's in the right position. I suppose that's all that matters. Petrov sees him there, and he tries to get it towards the middle of the ice. You take a look at this in the second viewing as Petrov sees him, but he's got his back turned to it. He just kind of directs it in off the skate. That is some kind of footwork from Berglund. Maybe a little fortunate. Perfectly placed it to the far side of the net. They'll discuss it, but there's no debate from what we've seen that that's an automatic goal for Berglund.
I would say, I thought Berglund redirected it all the way. I did think he saw it coming and kind of kicked that right skate into position where it deflects home. And, of course, this is somewhat reminiscent of what happened in the spring of 22, where, in my opinion, the Oilers and Flames should have gone to overtime in
on the
Game
Blake
5.
Coleman marker.
Yes, on the Blake Coleman
No, here's
goal.
another look at that. And you can actually, the way he lifts the toe of his right skate kind of indicates that he knows it's coming, and maybe he's trying to kick it up to his stick, but it's just perfectly done by Berglund. And maybe a little fortunate the way that it ends up going in, but Petrov does a nice job of putting it into a dangerous area, and they end up getting the 2-2 goal.
But that was a case of angling his skate, and then once it ricocheted off the skate, it's almost natural where the leg kind of flies forward. But again, I thought Coleman did the same thing. And you can imagine, obviously, being in Edmonton partisan, but I'd tell you that we might still be playing Game 5 if that had counted.
The debate raged on for days after that, and obviously we know how it finished. But, I think Coleman was very clear about how he felt about it, and those are those plays that it really is 50-50 at that point. It's how it's viewed, and you can never really estimate what the guy was trying to do.
Gone by, third period. As
some more conversation.
Yep. A bit of a conversation with Adam Klepka. Faceoff will come outside. So the Oilers have gotten a pair on the power play. Calgary has received a pair from Ilya Nikolaev, both at even strength, and we're tied at 2.
The only two guys, by the way, in a conversation that are going to look eye to eye on the ice here tonight are Klapka and Gansky, all of 6'7".
Lipinski will face off against Jake Sloan. And off that draw, the puck trickles back to Gansky. He'll move it over. Boeke, a tough pass into the feet of Stonehouse, but Calgary's offside as late getting back onside was Hanzik.
A little sloppy here at this middle portion here. Both teams trying to get some rhythm back. We saw near the end of the second period a long stretch of about 4 minutes with no stoppage, high intensity, trying to find that pace once again here in the third period.
Pacific Division and provincial rivals, Edmonton and Calgary. This YoungStars edition of the Battle of Alberta. Pacific should be interesting this year as Calgary looks to kind of reclaim its place in the top 3 as the puck spins inside and is covered by Rocha. We might have a penalty here. Game 3.
And Pillin might have been actually in the corner. Take another look at where the stick comes up. There's Stromgren in the corner.
Is his own man, although it appeared Rocha was there. Klapka, the man setting the screen in front. And now he's trying to chisel that one free. Coronado in the mix with Tullio, and finally reversed around. Bell against Jaden Groove. Challenged up top, Morin. Coronado's open. Morin takes the shot, and that ends up wide and is hammered off the boards and out by Max Wanner. 2.5 gone by in the third period. Again, a reminder, Calgary last year missing the playoffs by 2 points, and don't forget, they finished a point ahead of Stanley Cup finalist Florida. Panthers were actually 17th in the league. Battle of Alberta comes. Of course, you and I fortunate to become the first broadcasting members in 31 years to cover a Battle of Alberta series.
1991, the last time before that.
Yeah, never too early to start thinking about another one.
Nope.
Although that's a takedown.
No call.
Gansky, no call. Looked like a bit of a horse collar there, but did not draw the call. And it's brought the other way, DeYoung. That would have set Calgary up with a potential 5-on-3, but no call. And instead, well, now we've got a call.
Yeah.
And Siona puts Stonehouse on his back. And that's quite a swing if they only send one off here. instead of potentially a two-man advantage, this could be an Edmonton power play here in 14 seconds time and a chance for the Oilers to take their first lead of the night. Wow, what a swing.
Well, the Flames coaching staff is pointing directly into the Oilers zone because they thought they missed a call there, and Siona tries to take matters into his own hands and kind of just manhandles Stonehouse to the ice. Here's the call that they thought. I mean, it's a penalty. Stromgren goes down, a little rake to the back, and he goes to the ice, but they left that one. That's what the coaching staff was calling for, but alas, it'll be a power play here in 14 seconds for the Oilers.
Kind of a switch of what happened in the second period where Edmonton took a penalty shortly after Klapka might have gotten away with one. Here it's the Oilers now in a 4-on-4 alignment for another few seconds. Carter Savoy, little spin move on Dewart. Sets up Akey, guides over Bourgault. Now the fifth skater will come onto the ice. Sloan will change places. Berglund, Petrov rather, is that fifth skater. Shot Akey, doesn't make its way through and is cleared by Donovan McCoy, who last year was part of Peterborough's 10th Ontario Hockey League Championship squad. Akey down the middle, coughed it up, fired down the ice, and with 1:20 left on the Oiler power play, it's a reset. Rocha will leave it for Petrov. Good pressure from Pilling. Carter Savoy now pestered by Tulk. Pilling still hanging around on Berglund. And the Oilers bottled up for an extra 15 seconds. Finally, Akey will emerge. Petrov the swing to Savoy. Bourgault gains entry. Slid off his stick. Chance for Kuznetsov to clear, which he does.
Pilling's been really good on the PK for Calgary tonight. Couple shorthanded chances and did good work in the offensive zone there, too.
He's a good player. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be an excellent player. Tullio set up the right-hand side. As he said, his season with the Oil Kings kind of cut short. Started the year with Moose Jaw last season. Warner able to reverse up the right-hand side. Speaking of Moose Jaw. And now fills the lane in the high slot. Could not handle the pass, and the Flames will take advantage. A clear by Dewart, and that'll pretty much do it for the Edmonton power plays. So the Oilers don't even manage a shot on net. Tullio rushes in. Again, coughs it up. Warner has to regroup. From center, he waits to make sure his team is onside and then bounces one on net. Murphy kicks it over to McCoy, and now 5-on-5 action resumes. This will be an icing call against the Flames. Bit of a misplay there, and back in time, Gansky.
You mentioned Donovan McCoy earlier in the Peterborough Petes last year. Obviously a spectacular year to get to the Memorial Cup. He's had kind of a reign of terror, and some of the Edmonton Oilers players might have some fond memories going back, or not so fond. He took out Brady Stonehouse in the second round, Ottawa 67s, then Matt May out of North Bay in the conference final, and then Zach Bowen, who we saw earlier in the London Knights in the OHL final. So there's familiarity there as well.
Lounsbury forces it to the middle. A diving Gorley managed to muster a clear to center, and now Siona will attack the Edmonton end. Shot low glove, that was heading wide, but Rocha has it in his clutches, and now Bernard and Siona stare one another down. 6 minutes gone by, third period, game tied at 2, and that was generously credited a shot on goal.
Siona's continues to be right in the mix, though, no matter what's going on the ice, whether it's off the rush. Every
impossible
stoppage,
not to like his game.
It really is, and he's done a good job. I had a conversation with him coming off some injuries. You go deep into the playoffs, the Memorial Cup, he had some injuries, but stayed in Calgary, worked out with a bunch of the veterans, spent the time. His fitness testing coming out of the summer was exceptional, and it's paying off here early on.
Speaking of the Memorial Cup, I mean, Siona captained the Seattle Thunderbirds, beaten in the final by Quebec. But, I mean, just oozes leadership. Van Mulligan back to center. Morant drops it back. And now charging up ice and flipping it just underneath the scoreboard was Gorley. Falling on it will be Rocha, and another whistle with 13:34 on the game clock and we're tied at 2. If overtime is necessary, standard NHL rules would apply. 5 minutes of 3-on-3 followed by a shootout. And again, the Oilers haven't lost in regulation at this tournament in 16 games. They were 0-3 at the 2013 event. Since then, 14-0-2. Quick chance, snapped high and wide by Lipinski. Van Vliet covering up down low. Stromgren put it back into Van Vliet. Lipinski tried to keep it in. Petrov took a huge hit from Stromgren, but was able to get the clear, and now Kuznetsov back in his own end for the Flames. Diot chipping and charging in for the Flames. Hanzik with Lipinski. Kuznetsov across. Diot, a shot that was blocked by Petrov. Stromgren shot Kuznetsov and a save. Roaches, he's able to squeeze that 5-hole shot just in time. And some more gesticulating, but no major blows exchanged on that mini scrum.
Rocha hasn't had to face too many dangerous shots since he's come into the game, but confident one in this one. Take another look at the Stromgren in on the forecheck. He gets a piece of Petrov. Petrov didn't like it either. He gives him a piece of the lumber on the way back. Those two kind of jostled throughout the rest of the shift, but Rocha was nice positioning, calm, seals it up, no rebound. It's kind of what you
right.
want.
I mean, he's only faced 3 shots, Brendan.
Yeah.
They haven't really tested him.
Not yet. When a guy comes in cold, too, that's one thing you'd like to do.
One-timer rip from distance, a save on Gorley, and this will be ruled a tip by the Flames, so no icing, and Murphy will leave it for McCoy. Stretch play, handled by Dewar. Caught a glancing blow from Stonehouse. Now Gorley up the left-hand side. Nikolaev, lateral over to Tolk. Tried to find him in the middle of the ice, but Warner took that one away. Ahead to Chason, bottled up by Moran. Tolk failed to hold the zone. Chason might have gotten away with a hold. No, he didn't.
Back
I think this penalty is Chason. I think that's the call.
Actually, might be calling both.
Are they going both? One for holding the stick, perhaps?
One for a high stick, maybe, and one for... There's definitely one for a hook on Chason, but Moran's going off as well for the hold. You're right.
Holding the stick, yeah.
It was the one hand. Moran had one hand free on the stick. Chason definitely got the hook in originally, similar to the call we saw earlier in the game on the Flames. But, yeah, you can see the one hand free from Moran. He grabs the stick.
He had the call.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do it at that point. He already had the call. But one each way, 4-on-4. And with 12:12 on the clock, plenty of open ice. It'll be Petrov, Savoy, Gansky, and Akey. Calgary will counter with Pilling, Klapka, Kuznetsov, and Diot. Diot with a turnover backhander off the post from Petrov. And Diot breathes a sigh of relief as that kissed the red paint. Whoa. 2 dreadful turnovers by Calgary. 2 point blanks looks for Edmonton, and both have been stopped, and now a penalty has been taken. Yeah, Petrov, perhaps frustrated he didn't finish there, but he's going to the box, and this may carry over to that hit from Stromgren.
I think it's exactly what it is. Yeah, the frustration a little bit still built in there, but that's 2 passes through the middle of the ice. McCoy in the second period and Diot there. Just a little bit careless. He had Klapka there, but it's a pass that you don't need to make because you have support. You've got plenty of open ice in the 4-on-4 situation.
And
you
you're
can
not
back
under
that
pressure.
off. No, you're not under. And 4-on-4 possession. It's just like what we see in 3-on-3 hockey. The whole idea when you get so much ice is to hang onto the puck and let things develop organically. And Diot tried to force that pass in there. It was picked off. Petrov ends up hitting the post, and then he ends up taking a penalty. So now, when you want to talk about open ice, we got a 4-on-3 power play for 1:45.
You might have seen these maybe 3 or 4 times over the course of an 82-game season. And it develops here at the YoungStars tournament. Manti. Cairns gives it back to him. Manti moving. Coronado. Up top, Grube. Bernard watches one-timer whistled home. Coronado buries it. And Calgary regains the lead with its first power play goal of the tournament. 11:37 to play, and it's 3-2 for the Flames.
Well, it's interesting, Jack, because with Moran off, it's Quinn Manti that gets the opportunity to operate the top of the power play. He helps set up an earlier goal for the Calgary Flames. Nikolaev's second of the game. And then he works some magic here, rotating off the top. They create some space. And then it's Cairns that puts it on a tee for Matt Coronado. Maybe a sigh of relief for Coronado. Get off the schneid. It's his first goal as a member of the Calgary Flames. It comes to the YoungStars Classic, and it's 3-2.
Bourgault charging in. So 3-2 Calgary. It's the first power play goal allowed by Edmonton at this tournament after 9 consecutive kills. 3-2 Flames. Here's Hanzik in front. One-timer to save Rocha as he denies Lipinski, and now more rough stuff. Stonehouse and Hanzik spin one another around. Meanwhile, Lipinski eventually crumpled to the ice. So there's 2 linesmen in the mix there. Desperately trying to get at him was Xavier Bernard. We'll see if they pull anyone out of the pile. Might be one each way here. Lipinski, I think there are going to be penalties called here.
And you can kind of sense it in the game, right? I mean, there's been some of that exchanging back and forth after whistles. It kind of got quiet at the start of the third period, but you can feel a little of the bite come back into this hockey game, and maybe the officials trying to put an end to that early on. And Lipinski's getting his bucket. Is he going? He's going back to the bench. The door is open to the Calgary bench.
I thought originally it was one each way.
Here's how it happened. Hanzik is the one that gets the puck to the front of the net. Lipinski gets the shot away, but Bernard quickly comes over. He gets to the glove to the face of Lipinski, and now he's going. Yeah. So I don't know if Lipinski thought he had it, but probably the right way to do it here. If you're going to take one out of a scrum like that, you got to take them both.
But often, I mean, to your point, Brendan, often the officials will pull one out of the pile if they feel like they've got to get the game settled down, and that's a way to do it. But now, again, more open ice with a 4-on-4 scenario.
And Jack, usually when you see that, it's an exchange where it's a couple of quick punches, and a lot of times it's the second punch that'll go. That one was more of a
wrestling.
Yeah, match. Wrestling. Both guys kind of grabbed each other and held on.
So a face-off coming to Rocha's right. 11-12 remain in the hockey game. Calgary 3, Edmonton 2. Go-ahead power play goals scored moments ago by Matt Coronado. The highest draft pick on either side in uniform tonight. Coronado selected 13th overall a couple years back. Turns and fires into a crowd, and that might have caught Cairns, who set him up for the go-ahead goal moments ago. Akey swiftly advances through to center. Threw it across, a bouncing puck collected by Petrov, whose backhander went off the goalpost, and then moments later his penalty set Calgary up with what would be a power play goal. Oilers were offside. McCoy takes advantage, and Bell will swing it down low behind Warner. Taken against the boards by Van Mulligan. Savoy unable to create space. McCoy funnels across to Kuznetsov. Slide step, but a nice play and a recovery by Petrov, whose two-way game steadily improving over his last 2 years. McCoy has shot off the glove of Rocha. Juicy rebound rather in front, and eventually gathered and cleared by Chason as we go inside 10 minutes to play. Third period, back to 5-on-5 hockey. Calgary protecting a 3-2 lead. Flames are a +3 on the shot clock, 22-19. One night after being outshot 36-13. Here's a one-timer in front, and Hanzik did not make clean contact. Klapka shimmies his way free, heads for the net. Van Vliet able to recover. Elbow him into A mere playmaking position and eventually a turnover. Berglund could not sneak his way past Diot, but Gorley did not handle the puck cleanly. DeYoung's centering pass intended for Tullio, picked off and cleared. Boakey. A Barry Colt. Excellent puck mover. First pass. And slowly building quite a resume on the defensive side of the puck as well. From center. Looks to deliver Tullio left wing, but that was anticipated beautifully by Morin. Steers over Kuznetsov. Dewar able to shovel it in deep. It's been the expected bounce-back performance for the Calgary Flames tonight. A 2-1 lead. Morin looking for insurance. A shot. Ricocheted to the corner. Siona. He'll wind it down low. Warner stands up his man. But Dewar keeps it alive for the Flames, and the cycle reestablished. Akey, with help from Warner, breaking it up, and it's fished out of there by Petrov. And now Tullio cuts around McCoy. Coronado back defensively, and Tullio eventually finds himself 1-on-3 as Edmonton was in the midst of a change. Pilling the other way to Coronado, chipping and charging toward the Edmonton net. Van Mulligan trying to stay with him. Coronado determined. And we had some rough stuff in front of the two benches, and it's a cross-check that's going to go against Calgary. And Pilling that time, perhaps too spirited. 7:48 to play in regulation. And when we come back, the Edmonton Oilers will look to tie it once again on the power play at the YoungStars Tournament live from the South Okanagan Event Center in Penticton.
Incredible! The Calgary Wranglers' inaugural season was a huge success.
They're off to the Calder Cup playoffs.
Join the herd and experience all the action of the upcoming AHL season. Wrangler ticket packages are now available, including season tickets. Watch your Calgary Flames top prospects, get the best prices, and exclusive access. All Wranglers tickets.
Kind of 30-ish. 30 split tonight. Matvei Petrov steps up, and it goes off the skate of Carl Berglund and into the net for the tying goal. Deadlocked at 2, 44 seconds in. You are allowed to redirect off the skate. That did not, at first glance, look like a kick.
No, not at all. I think there's no discussion on this one. I don't even know if Berglund was looking at the puck at the time it goes off his skate. We'll take a look at the replay, but he's in the right position. I suppose that's all that matters. Petrov sees him there, and he tries to get it towards the middle of the ice. You take a look at this in the second viewing as Petrov sees him, but he's got his back turned to it. He just kind of directs it in off the skate. That is some kind of footwork from Berglund. Maybe a little fortunate. Perfectly placed into the far side of the net. They'll discuss it, but there's no debate, at least from what we've seen, that's an automatic goal for Berglund.
Kind of 30-ish, 30 split tonight. Matvei Petrov steps up, and it goes off the skate.
It's our lower bowl, so you can enjoy.
For Calgary, and it came on the power play. Face-off coming to Connor Murphy's right. It'll be Akey, Berglund, Savoy, Petrov, and Bourgault for Edmonton. Calgary has Gorley and Diot on the penalty kill. Dewar will take the face-off, and Nikolaev lines up in the slot. Clean face-off win for Edmonton. And it's Bourgault. One-timer ripped off the glove of Connor Murphy. Regained by Bourgault. Threw it across, deflected off the short glass, but still within the ice surface. One-timer blasted home just underneath the bar from Matvei Petrov. And this game is tied once again. 3-3 with 7:29 to play, and that was a laser.
Well, that one hit some pipe too, but luckily for Petrov.
was a low surface. One off the short glass, but still within the ice surface. One-timer blasted home just underneath the bar. Within the ice surface. One-timer blasted home just underneath the bar from Matvei Petrov. And this game is tied once again. 3-3 with 7:29 to play, and that was a laser.
Well, that one hit some pipe too, but luckily for Petrov, after the earlier post on the turnover by Diot, this one was back bar, and it was unloaded in a hurry. It was Carter Savoy that had the first look coming off the half wall. He's had a number of chances in this game on the power play, but they reset it. Savoy's the one that starts it. Look at that little backhand flick right outside to Petrov, and he unloads that one-timer, beating Connor Murphy, and we're all square again. Petrov, you can tell, he has no problem with the one-timer on that half wall. He does a good job of releasing it right away and getting a lot on it.
67 goals over his last 2 years in North Bay. Set up from our
Briefly.
point of view, but it
That's
boy, I didn't. Seventh chance with a man advantage. Bernard whiffs initially, and then when he tried to call by Verreau, it might have been away from the play.
It's actually Lounsbury after the defending.
He battles for possession off the draw, and a clear delivered by Gorley. Rocha throws one into no man's land. Bourgault couldn't get there, and it's lined back in immediately by Dewart. So the same five on the ice for Edmonton. Akey with a misplay, a bit of a miscommunication with Berglund, recovered by Savoy. And then he ran into traffic in the form of Nikolaev, who's just been all over the ice in all situations tonight for Calgary. Bo Akey gives way to Savoy. Petrov creates a screen at the blue line, and now it's Bourgault. In front of the net is Berglund. The lateral deflected, and now the Flames might have something shorthanded. Donovan McCoy heading for the net, shoots off the glove, and that whistled just wide. Rocha got a piece, but Brendan, that missed by an eyelash. Here's Berglund. Shoveling it down low for Bourgault. He's tied up in the corner, shimmies his way free, and now directs a pass out to the point. This time, Warner can't get it through. Tullio looking to do the same, but his wrist shot swallowed up by, once again, Nikolaev inside. Bourgault denied Murphy. Bourgault a second time, and Murphy, a terrific save. 5:20 to play. We're tied at 3. Power play down to 25 seconds. Warner struggles to hold it in. He did not. Edmonton has to tag back up, and Diot has all night to clear. Releases it up the right-hand side. He probably could have melted a few more seconds. Oilers will have time for one last rush if they hurry. 10 seconds left in the dubious call against Kuznetsov. Bernard will snap it around the boards. Murphy got a piece, rolled free, turned over. Chance now, Chason in front. Chason snagged it. Not in shooting position just yet. Calgary back at full strength. Now snapped across to Tullio. He was hit hard. Fought his way back into position to hold the zone. Got some help from Chason in that endeavor. It was flung down low, but Edmonton needs a change, and Calgary should have ample room to clear. Gorley does. Hanzik will send it in. Sam Hanzik, 16th overall pick this summer. Played for Slovakia at the World Juniors. Verreau, meanwhile, scampers through center for Edmonton. Maintain Lounsbury. DeYoung tried to thread it through traffic in front. It wasn't there. Bell failed to clear. Bo Akey with 4 minutes to play. His shot blocked and flutters out of play with 3:56 to go. And the game knotted at 3.
Pace has come back up again here in the latter part of this third period. And how about the 2 stops by Connor Murphy on that penalty kill that also helped lead to this chance on the 2-on-1. Donovan McCoy keeps, and that actually might have grazed the outside of the post there.
I thought it gloved
and
outside of the iron and out.
Absolutely, and he had Klapka driving wide. There's another look. It was Bourgault that had the opportunity right here.
2 of them.
2 of them, and it's the first one. It starts kind of off the stick of Connor Murphy on the turnover, and then Flames are able to clear it.
Last face-off, puck pops out of play after a brief skirmish, and we'll drop it again in the Calgary zone. 3:49 to play in the hockey game, and we're tied at 3.
We talked off the top that the results don't matter. Well, maybe try telling these guys, because Parker Bell threw himself in front of a shot there. Kuznetsov blocked one, 5 minutes to go, and you're throwing everything at it.
Next game here at the YoungStars tournament, our next live stream will be 2 o'clock Pacific time, and that'll be Vancouver-Winnipeg tomorrow, 2 o'clock Pacific time. Now Klapka out to the point, ripped, and Diot couldn't find the net. Play with a high stick by Klapka. He recognizes, and DeYoung ends up carrying it, courtesy of Lounsbury. And Bo Akey will take a skate. He knew his team was going to be offside. Oilers needed to shuffle the deck personnel-wise, and they do, with 3 1/4 to play in regulation. We are tied at 3. Again, Edmonton, a 16-game unbeaten streak in regulation coming in to this tournament. 14-0-2. Here's Bourgault driving in, again denied for a third time in the last couple of minutes by Connor Murphy, and he's ultimately able to collect the rebound. But that's 3 times from inside 10 feet that Xavier Bourgault, Edmonton's most highly touted pick at this tournament, has been stopped by the Calgary netminder.
And if you're an Oilers fan watching, this is what you love to see. He's driving that to the net no matter what's in front of him, and takes that shot from Gorley after he gets the chance. But that's what you want to see from Bourgault, is just to take it to the net, get the offensive chance, and not worry about what's going to come. And Gorley does a good job of standing his ground, but not before Bourgault gets a really quality opportunity.
Scored 13 goals last year in Bakersfield. Shot off the draw. That ricocheted high and wide as again Edmonton had traffic in front. Tullio takes another one, and this one likewise deflected out of play with 2:44 to go in the third. But your point on Bourgault, not only a bit of an opportunity to see the moves he can make, but as you point out, straight lines toward the net. And when you're a young, skilled player learning your way at the upper levels of professional hockey, sometimes the path of least resistance is chosen. Yep. Bourgault has certainly not chosen that path tonight.
Yeah, that speaks to a guy that's been through a year of pro hockey right there.
Bourgault off the draw, centering pass, and that was not handled by Savoy. Stepping up to keep it in the zone momentarily was Warner, and then Bourgault, a great play to bring it back in, but did it escape? I believe it did.
Got a penalty here, too.
Warner away from the play. I wonder whether Bourgault did, in fact, keep it in. It's going to be a Neen call. I was going to say it was a little tough on the near side to tell. But Bourgault's grit undone by the fact that Warner takes a Neen call, and all of a sudden it's Calgary with a chance to regain the lead.
Yeah, here's this. It's Warner that's stepping up on Stronger and to make the play at the blue line, and you can see incidental, but they definitely make some knee-on-knee contact. His feet never exchanged path. It's hard to say.
Yeah, that's one he's similar to the boarding call. I don't necessarily at live speed. Kneeing is usually something at live speed that's a little more obvious. I don't know.
You'd see the knee come out a little bit or the leg extend out. I don't know if it ever extended out, but
be that as it may, Calgary on the power play for all but the last 30 seconds of regulation here. Coronado, power play goal earlier in this period gave Calgary a 3-2 lead. Then Petrov tied it. Now the Flames looking for their 4th lead of the night, but a pass to the interior intercepted and rifled down the ice by Xavier Bernard. Minute 45 on the game clock, minute 15 on the penalty to Warner. Coronado is Calgary having trouble gaining the zone. Pressure from Berglund, who's joined by Akey, Van Mulligan, and Bourgault. Here's Klapka heading for the net. Looking, waiting, shooting, and that missed. Rebound kicked off the Dashers. Nikolaev couldn't find it. He scored twice tonight for Calgary. Klapka, open, waits, hesitates. Coronado calling for that puck. Dishing it back. Gorley a shot. That doesn't make its way through, and Van Mulligan will get a clear. Little hesitation up top that time from Calgary with a minute to go. 30 seconds left in the man advantage. Final minute of regulation. Stonehouse stymies that Calgary rush, and the puck brushed out of play with 57 ticks of the clock remaining.
I think in the earlier chance, Klapka was almost surprised to see how much room he had. He kind of backed into it. I could tell he was looking to make a pass. And then right here, he ends up finding himself with all kinds of space. There he is, looking, and then I'll just take the shot. He rips it. And I'm not sure if Rocha got much of a piece of it. Nikolaev was standing next door for the loose puck.
Sent in deep by Gansky off the draw. One final rush for Calgary on the power play. Flames looking for the lead. Final 40 seconds of regulation. Lipinski. Gansky ties them up. 6 players grappling for puck possession. To Young, trying to force a clear, stepping up Gorley. Briefly held it in. Now flipped up the left-hand side, but Edmonton had just come back to full strength. So that's an icing call against the Oilers. And with 23 seconds remaining, Calgary will get an O-zone draw.
See what Trent Cole decides to deploy here with the offensive zone face-off and maybe one opportunity to generate a scoring chance. He'll throw over that Cairns, Bell, and Coronado line. Jan Kuznetsov and Mikhail Diot will be on the back end. It's a big face-off here. I talked a little bit about this last night. Rory Cairns, a guy that spent a lot of time in the ECHL last year, had some injury problems, but really only played a few games in the American Hockey League, getting a real good opportunity to play with Matt Coronado in a highly offensive role here so far in this tournament.
6 to be exact. He had a goal and an assist, and now a timeout has been taken by the Calgary Flames to set up this final play. It was interesting. The other thing we didn't talk about on that last Calgary power play, Coronado was calling for the puck, and they didn't get it to him. And, you know, he had just scored earlier in the third period on the power play. That's the guy you want to feed.
Yeah, even on that play where Klapka backs into the slot, I think Coronado wanted it there. And then eventually when that puck did get back around to Klapka in the high slot, he got it over to Coronado, but he got it into the feet.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of negated that scoring chance. But you can tell Coronado wants the puck right now. Feeling good, as you mentioned, had that go-ahead goal scored earlier in this period. It's kind of the guy you want with the puck on his stick, and maybe he gets a chance here with 22.8 seconds left in an offensive zone faceoff.
Edmonton with 24 shots on net tonight. Calgary 22. It'll be Stonehouse against Cairns, who won the draw cleanly for Calgary, but then whiffing on it was Moran. He got it back against Petrov, and the Oilers end up busting out anyways. Stonehouse with a play onside, a shot fought off by Murphy. 10 seconds to play. Held in for the moment by Warner. Taking a quick peek at the clock, Petrov. 4 seconds to play. Calgary has it pinned on the corner, and we will be heading overtime here at the YoungStars Classic. After 2 relatively lopsided games last night, Edmonton with the score a somewhat deceptive 3-1, Calgary a 7-1 whopper. But tonight, highly competitive. The Oilers doing it completely on the power play, and Calgary getting a power play goal as well, but 3 times the Flames seeing leads slip away. So 6 goals in regulation, and we'll see whether we can settle this one in a 5-minute 3-on-3.
You know, it feels kind of fitting, doesn't it, Jack? I mean, I think it's been played pretty evenly. The shot count, the scoreboard would reflect it. Let's take a look back at the 6 goals that got us to this point, headed to overtime. Ilya Nikolaev's been sensational for the Flames. Got them on the board 1-0, but then that answer from Brady Stonehouse tied it up 1-1 after 1. There's Nikolaev again finishing the Mark Duert pass. 2 goals on the night for him. And then how about this start to the period? Matvei Petrov banks it in off the skate of Carl Berglund. Sensational stuff from Berglund with the nice little footwork. That would tie it up. Once again, the Flames take the lead, courtesy Matt Coronado. But it was short-lived again because Petrov, in the conversation, had the helper earlier and then unloads that power play one-timer to tie it up. And that's how we end up at a score of 3-3 after regulation. Petrov with a goal and an assist. Ilya Nikolaev with a pair of goals, a couple of guys figuring into the offense on both sides.
And those are the 2 guys I'd look for in overtime. I would say overall they've been the most impactful offensive players, though I will say let's not overlook the work that Connor Murphy did head-to-head against Xavier Bourgault. 3 point-blank denials in the third period alone.
2 on that power play and then 1 even strength right after that. Bourgault's been dangerous throughout the course of this third period, with a little bit of space, 3-on-3. He's a guy that can skate, and we saw earlier this period, he's not afraid to drive the net. And now he's got some space that he can work with to see if we can see some of that offensive creativity. Looks like he might come over the boards here first for Edmonton.
13 power plays combined in the game, 4 goals. Edmonton 3 of 7, Calgary 1 of 6. And now in the 3-on-3, the Oilers will begin with Bourgault and Berglund along with Bo Akey. Calgary will counter with Cairns and Coronado and Etienne Morin on the blue line, and Cairns is able to win the opening faceoff. So first possession of OT belongs to the Flames. And this is now 17 games in a row that Edmonton has not tasted defeat in regulation at this tournament. Coronado going back to 2013. Drop off to Cairns, shadowed by Berglund, and now Morin. Coronado. He's the danger man in terms of pure sniping ability and wires one high to the glove side. Fielded flawlessly by Morin, but then Coronado coughed it up, and possession will switch to Edmonton as both teams make changes. Bourgault scrambles his way to center. Hanzik unable to locate him. Bourgault barrels his way behind the net. Finds an opening for Warner. He'll switch spots with Carter Savoy and ultimately cough it up, though. Coming over to make a play on it will be Cairns, and once again, Calgary has possession as Savoy attempts to disrupt Hanzik. Kuznetsov has come on, joined by Parker Bell. Petrov and Warner for Edmonton fall back into a defensive posture. Kuznetsov stumbles slightly. Bell advances and now backs off. Kuznetsov loading up around Savoy. Cuts behind the net. Savoy sealed him off brilliantly, and possession wrestled away by Max Warner. So Carter Savoy forces the turnover. And here's Petrov to tie Tullio. Petrov heads for the net. Centering pass off the skate of Petrov. Got it to Tullio. Wide open back door, and Akey can't get there in time. Glanced off the heel of his stick, and now Klapka chugs down the left-hand side to the net. Taken out, and we will have a penalty. Will we have a penalty shot? It's just a trip.
Thought about it.
The Flames will get the 14th power play of the evening, now 7 aside. Now they've already taken their time out. So there won't be a TO here, as Joey Rocha knows that his club must kill off yet another penalty.
Klapka lost it for just a brief moment as he drives it to the net. That's probably the right call, even though the fans in the house would look for maybe a point to the center dot, but it's definitely a stick to the skate, and Klapka goes down. That is a big man, real big man charging into Rocha. Joey Rocha's thankful to walk away from that unscathed, but here we go, 4-on-3.
Berglund will take the draw against Cairns. Warner and Bernard out there defensively for Edmonton. Cairns tie up off the draw. Puck trickles free. Warner locates and then had it deflected out of play by Klapka. That was an alert job by Klapka because it keeps the face-off in the Edmonton zone. Him getting a stick on that puck and not allowing it to simply bank off the glass and down the ice. Coronado out there for the Flames to join Klapka, Cairns, and Morin.
Klapka's going to take the face-off on his strong side.
He'll do so against Berglund. Warner in the slot, watching Coronado. Clean face-off win back to Morin. He'll move it over to Cairns. Morin. Coronado. Loading, firing. That might have glistened off the blocker. Morin has it back. They'll look for the cross-seamer here. Cairns. It's not there. So Morin. Coronado gets it back from Cairns. Morin, shot, deflected home. Klapka. And the Flames win it in overtime, 4-3, with fittingly a power play goal, the 5th of the night, and the 2nd for Calgary, the difference.
Certainly the storyline of this hockey game. The power play is added up, and so too did the power play goals. Great movement at the top of this 4-on-3 situation for the Calgary Flames. It was exchanging hands between Coronado and Moran, and then they eventually rotate, and it would be Adam Klapka, the big presence in front of Joey Rocha. But there's the rotation. Coronado switches things up, gets the penalty killers moving, and Moran just kind of snaps one in, knowing he's got Klapka in front. And that's exactly what he was hoping to see, either the deflection or the clean into the back of the net. In this case, Klapka gets it through the body of Rocha and in. No chance for Joey Rocha on that play. That's all 6'7" and a deflection in front. And the Calgary Flames will win this one in overtime, thanks to the penalty drawn by Klapka and eventually the goal on the power play.
Well, and you mentioned him as a player to watch coming into tonight, talking about his contributions at last year's tournament, and he finds a way after a bit of a slow start in this game to come alive when the chips were down in overtime.
And that's exactly why he was one of those guys to watch, because he's got some experience. He played, obviously, with the Calgary Wranglers last season, but for me, it's more about the havoc that he creates with his reach, with his size and his length. And in that case, when he wound it up, he got going at top speed. A 6'7" man that straight lines, he can get it up going pretty fast. And I think that's what he's been able to bring to the table for the Calgary Wranglers, and in this case, the Calgary Flames tonight.
And for me, the other difference, as we get a look at our tournament schedule next up, as we talked about tomorrow's 2 o'clock Pacific start, Vancouver against Winnipeg, and then the final game for the Flames and Oilers will be played Monday. A matinee for Calgary at 10 a.m. against Winnipeg, and then Edmonton, the last game of the tournament, against host Vancouver, Monday at 1:30. But Connor Murphy, 3-point blank denials against my player to watch, Xavier Bourgault.
Yep.
I think that's the difference of this game being settled in overtime in favor of the Flames, and Edmonton winning in regulation.
No question. Specifically that last one with Bourgault cutting across the top. Sensational stop by Murphy, and obviously the difference in regulation.
So the final score in overtime, Adam Klapka, the tip-in, and the 5th power play goal of the night, the difference, as the Calgary Flames claim a 4-3 victory over the Edmonton Oilers. Again, tomorrow, 2 o'clock, YoungStars coverage continues. For Brendan Parker, I'm Jack Michaels. Ladies and gentlemen, the pleasure was all ours. Adam Klapka and the Flames win it in overtime, 4-3.
you.